I asked you to be a security guard, not to spy on the goddess of the shared apartment. The urban security guard, Yi Chen, is betrayed by his girlfriend. In his despair, he awakens his X-ray vision, Qilin Kidney, and Yi Emperor medical scriptures. He also meets a wealthy young lady and moves into a shared villa, cohabiting with four goddesses. From then on, his life skyrockets, and he begins living an enviable and extremely exciting life that everyone admires. Chapter 1, Betrayal. Manager Song, please go easier, I can't take it. Manager Song, I told you to be gentle, but you don't care at all. What if someone walks in? Manager Song, you're so bad, I like it so much. As a security guard at Xingshi Entertainment Group, Yi Chen didn't leave after work. He received a text from his girlfriend, Jiang Qianqian, telling him that she would be working late and asking him to go home first. He didn't leave. Instead, he decided to wait for her. While waiting and with nothing else to do, Yi Chen patrolled the company. When he reached the floor where the business department was located, he was surprised to find that the lobby was empty, and all the employees had already left for the day. Just then, strange noises came from the office of the business manager. The closer he got, the clearer the noises became. The office door wasn't locked. Peering through the crack in the door, Yi Chen witnessed an unspeakably shocking and scandalous scene. Jiang Qianqian, who came from the same village as Yi Chen, had been his girlfriend since junior high. They went to the same high school and university and had been together for over 10 years. After graduating, they worked in the same city, at the same company Xingshi Entertainment Group. Their relationship had always been loving and sweet. Now, she was sitting in the office chair, with a fat, pig-like man on top of her, making lewd noises, eagerly responding to his movements. The sight was so depraved it could rival that of a prostitute. Yi Chen recognized that fat man. His name was Song Zikai, the manager of the business department. Jiang Qianqian was Song Zikai's secretary. It was unthinkable for her to be having an affair with him, especially after all the time they had spent together. And to make matters worse, Jiang Qianqian had lied to Yi Chen, saying she had to work late, only to secretly meet up with Song Zikai. Yi Chen's eyes turned bloodshot, and his chest was on fire with anger. Jiang Qianqian, you bitch! You told me you had to work late, and now look where you are. Yi Chen could barely contain his fury. He pushed open the office door and rushed inside. Jiang Qianqian and Song Zikai were both startled, almost jumping out of their skins. At that moment, Song Zikai didn't want to stop, continuing to move with no regard for Yi Chen's presence. Fuck you! Get the hell out! Yi Chen yelled, kicking Song Zikai in the waist with all his strength. Damn it, that hurts! Song Zikai fell to the ground, clutching his waist and grimacing in pain. Tell me, this is your so-called working late. Why did you lie to me? Why betray me? Yi Chen glared at Jiang Qianqian, his voice trembling with rage. Jiang Qianqian was flustered. Yi Chen, you have to listen to me, let me explain. Explain? What is there to explain with him? Yi Chen, don't blame Jiang Qianqian for choosing me, this is the reality of the world. Song Zikai stood up, fixing his clothes, showing no sign of panic. Instead, he arrogantly helped Jiang Qianqian up and embraced her right in front of Yi Chen. It was a blatant provocation, as if Yi Chen didn't matter at all. Jiang Qianqian, now with a sense of security, seemed to have made a decision. Taking a deep breath, she said, Yi Chen, let us break up. Manager Song is right. He can give me so much more than you. You're just a security guard, and with him around, you'll never be able to rise up. You have no future. If your family were well off, maybe it would be different. But you're from a poor rural family, your parents are farmers, dirty and poor, and they can't help you. If I stay with you, I'll probably end up back in the countryside, living as a village woman. But with Manager Song, I'll be a successful urban white-collar worker, enjoying all the luxuries of life. Jiang Qianqian's disdain and contempt for Yi Chen and his rural background were on full display. I was once a salesperson, making decent money with a bright future ahead. Do you really not understand why I ended up like this? And what's wrong with being from the countryside? That's where you were born and raised. Yi Chen's eyes were bloodshot, his fists clenched so tightly they creaked as he angrily shouted. His words made Jiang Qianqian avert her gaze, unable to respond. When Yi Chen joined Xingshi Entertainment, he started as a salesperson and was highly successful. Within just a year, he became the department's sales champion and received praise from the company's higher-ups. However, as his performance improved, Yi Qian began to pose a threat to Song Zikai, who was wary of him. On one occasion, Song Zikai appeared to give him a major business deal worth millions, seemingly preparing to retire. But in reality, Song Zikai secretly colluded with the client to sabotage the deal, ultimately framing Yi Qian for its failure. As a result, Yi Qian's reputation was ruined, and he was publicly reprimanded by the company. Seizing the opportunity, Song Zikai orchestrated Yi Qian's downfall, getting him demoted to a security guard. Yi Qian fell from the heights to the depths, losing his job and income, with no chance to recover. It was clear Yi Qian's current plight was entirely due to Song Zikai's machinations. Now, to make matters even worse, his beloved girlfriend was sleeping with the man he hated the most, turning into his rival's plaything. The humiliation in Yi Qian's heart exploded. He felt like a wild beast on the verge of going berserk. But instead of attacking, he reached out to Jiang Qianqian. What are you trying to say? Jiang Qianqian, fearful of the look in Yi Qian's eyes, instinctively took a step back. If you want to break up, fine. I don't want to be with you anymore, but before we part, give me back the 200,000 yuan betrothal gift my mother gave you. Last year, when they went back home for the new year and discussed their wedding, Yi Qian's parents took out all their savings after working a lifetime as farmers and borrowed money from relatives to gather the 200,000 yuan betrothal gift that Jiang Qianqian demanded. At the very least, that money was the blood and sweat of Yi Qian's parents and could not simply be taken away. Jiang Qianqian's face immediately changed when she heard the mention of money, and she angrily shouted, "Get lost! Don't you think you can get that money back? It's gone. And all these years, you've been sleeping with me. If I give you that money, it's like I'm letting you have me for free. Let me tell you, that 200,000 yuan has already been given to Manager Song. We're about to buy our own house, and the title will be under me and Manager Song's names." Jiang Qianqian glared at Yi Qian as she spoke. "You're just a poor idiot. Your parents' hard-earned money helped me, and now I'm sleeping with your woman. I've used your family's money to get ahead, and I've pushed you down into the security department, where you'll never rise again," Song Zikai mocked. You bastards, I'm going to kill you both." Hearing that his parents' blood and sweat had been handed over to this scum, Yi Qian could no longer suppress his rage. He swung his fist toward Song Zikai and Jiang Qianqian in blind fury. However, Song Zikai had already anticipated this. He had called for backup while lying on the ground earlier. With a fierce look in his eyes, Song Zikai's bodyguards rushed in and quickly restrained Yi Qian. "Damn it, you dare to lay a hand on me? Beat him? Beat him to death!" Song Zikai shouted angrily. The bodyguards swarmed Yi Qian, and though he fought back, he was overwhelmed and quickly knocked to the ground, blooded and bruised, unable to defend himself. Yi Qian groaned in agony. After watching for a while, Song Zikai stood up, holding Jiang Qianqian in his arms, and said, "Yi Qian, just die. Now, I'm taking your fiancée to finish what we started earlier. She said you've never touched her there, I'm sure it'll be tight and amazing. Har har." With that, he walked out of the office with Jiang Qianqian, leaving Yi Qian's burning gaze behind. The bodyguards continued to beat Yi Qian until he passed out, and after kicking him a few more times, they threw him out onto the street, leaving him to die. Before leaving, they even stole Yi Qian's wallet. At that moment, Yi Qian was bleeding profusely. His vision blurred, his breath grew weak, and he thought to himself, "Am I going to die here tonight? I'm not willing to go out like this. My parents have no one to take care of them." Chapter 2, X-ray Vision. Qilin Kidney. Yi Qian stood frozen, staring at the scene before him, completely dazed and unsure of what was happening. The old voice from the phantom quickly faded, followed by several beams of white light shooting into Yi Qian's brain. Almost immediately, intense pain followed. Yi Qian's head throbbed, blood poured from his eyes, and his waist was in agony. It took half an hour before he regained some composure. As the pain subsided, so did the injuries he had sustained during the beating. The wounds from earlier were completely healed. Yi Qian was utterly stunned. What happened next shocked him even more. He realized that everything within his line of sight had undergone a tremendous change. He could now see through car doors and discern the people inside. He could even see through courier boxes to identify their contents. If this applied to objects, what about people? Yi Qian glanced around and quickly spotted a beautiful girl standing by the roadside. The next moment, his face turned red, and he hurriedly looked away. Because he realized that he could actually see through the girl's clothes and view her shapely body. From her alluring peach-shaped bottom to her breasts that swayed gently with every step, everything was crystal clear, within his full view. This is the kind of X-ray vision I often read about in novels, right? Do I have it now? And that old man also mentioned something about their Leaf Emperor Internal Classic and their Qilin Kidney. Yi Qian checked his body and found a new book in his mind, which he could flip through with his thoughts. After browsing for a while, Yi Qian was ecstatic. The Leaf Emperor Internal Classic contained techniques for feng shui, medicine, and martial arts. As for the Qilin Kidney, its primary effect was that it enabled a man to perform 7 rounds in one night without tiring, capable of dominating all women. Besides that, it greatly enhanced Yi Qian's body and strength. The X-ray vision, on the other hand, could be activated or deactivated at will, and as Yi Qian became more proficient, the range of his vision would expand, allowing him to see through even more things. He didn't expect that the family heirloom bracelet was a bridge to communicate with the ancestor. With these powers, I can truly defy fate and change my destiny. Thank you, ancestor. I swear I will not disappoint your expectations and will restore the glory of the Yi family. Yi Qian clenched his fist, then his thoughts turned to the events of the day. His eyes grew cold. Jian Qianqian, Song Zakai, just wait. I'll make you pay for what you've done today. After cursing them in his heart, Yi Qian planned to return to the employee dormitory. However, after walking a few steps, he stopped. Yi Qian narrowed his eyes and saw 5 burly men, each covered in tattoos, surrounding the girl he had been staring at earlier. Little girl, dressed so beautifully in the middle of the night, who are you trying to seduce? Oh, I get it, you're waiting for us, right? Want to spend a wonderful night with us, huh? The 5 muscular men wore lewd grins and looked like they were up to no good. The girl, who had been looking at her phone, glanced up at them and then replied disdainfully, "Spend the night with you. Not trying to brag, but do you guys think too highly of yourselves? Look at you, ugly as hell, and you want to spend a night with me? I almost threw up when I looked at you. Damn, what the hell did you just say?" The burly men immediately became furious. The thing they hated most was being called ugly. One of them cursed angrily, "Stop acting so high and mighty. Standing by the roadside in the middle of the night, either you're trying to seduce someone or you're selling yourself. I bet you're just a streetwalker. Fine, I'll give you $100, let me have some fun." Har har har, $100. Isn't he that too little? She looks pretty good. Let us make it 120, but you better blow me and do everything. The other burly men laughed and taunted her. Hearing this, the girl grew furious. With all her strength, she kicked one of the burly men in the crotch. The sickening sound of something cracking echoed in the night. The burly man instantly collapsed to the ground, clutching his groin, rolling around, and screaming in pain. Yi Qian couldn't help but feel a chill down his spine as he watched this unfold. At the same time, the other burly men were enraged. Their eyes turned vicious, and they glared at the girl with murderous intent. "You bitch! You dared to lay a hand on us! You won't just not get any money, we're going to make you regret this." With so many angry, murderous glares directed at her, and being forced into a corner, the girl's expression finally changed. "I warn you, we don't give a damn who you are. We're gonna have our way with you today. We'll enjoy ourselves, and what happens afterward is none of our business. Even if you become a ghost, we'll still have fun with you." The man who had been kicked in the groin growled, crouched in pain, his eyes full of rage. "You." As the burly men began to undress, the girl, who had been fearless moments ago, now showed signs of panic. "Don't you dare. I warn you, my dad is. We don't give a damn if your dad is the king of hell. We're gonna fuck you up today. Damn, this girl's chest is huge, and her ass is so tight. I can't hold back any longer." One of the men shouted, his voice full of lust. "Pin her down. I'll go first, then you guys can take turns." Another man roared, and the others immediately moved in, intending to pin the girl down. For the first time, the girl's face showed real fear. She regretted provoking these men and wished she hadn't angered them. At that critical moment, Yi Qian, who had been watching from a distance, couldn't bear to see this anymore. He yelled, "Stop right there." Actually, Yi Qian didn't want to get involved, but he felt guilty for accidentally seeing the girl naked earlier. Plus, he wanted to test his enhanced strength and abilities, so he decided to intervene. The moment his shout rang out, the burly men frowned and turned around, their eyes filled with malice as they fixed their gaze on him. They hadn't started yet, but they were already angry at being interrupted. "Kid, what do you want? Are you trying to play hero?" The burly men sneered, hands in their pockets, looking down at Yi Chen with a menacing air. If this were before, Yi Chen would never have dared to provoke them. But now, thanks to his enhanced Qilin Kidney and physical strength, he was no longer the same person. "I'm not trying to cause trouble, but how can you guys force a woman in broad daylight? Aren't you afraid of being arrested?" Yi Chen replied, his voice firm and calm. When the burly men saw the security uniform Yi Chen was wearing, they mistakenly thought he was a cop, and a hint of fear flashed in their eyes. But when they saw his arm patch, they realized he was just a security guard. And seeing the numerous stains and shoe prints on his uniform, it was obvious Yi Chen had just been beaten up. The burly men laughed loudly. "Damn, this stupid security guard just got beat up and still dares to mess with us. Har har har, people like him who try to play hero deserve a beating. He asked for it. Do you know who we are, kid? We're the 5 tyrants of East Lake. You really want to mess with us, huh?" The 5 men began to roll up their sleeves and crack their knuckles, surrounding Yi Chen with their murderous glares. Yi Chen had heard of the 5 tyrants of East Lake. They were notorious thugs on East Lake Street, involved in robbery, theft, and bullying women. Rumor had it they had even taken lives. They were feared, and ordinary people would avoid them at all costs. But Yi Chen wasn't afraid in the slightest. He glanced at the girl and gave her a subtle signal, telling her to run as fast as she could. However, she remained motionless, seemingly not wanting to drag him into this. "Big brother, don't worry about me, you should leave. This has nothing to do with you. This has everything to do with me. Today, I'll teach him a lesson. Afterward, you'll be able to serve us in peace." With a menacing grin, the burly men lunged at Yi Chen, their fists aimed directly at him, as if they wanted to beat him into a bloody pulp. The girl screamed in horror, thinking Yi Chen was about to be beaten to death. But the next moment, she was stunned by what happened. The 5 men's fists slammed into Yi Chen's chest, but instead of smashing him, they were hit by a tremendous force that caused their fingers to break, their hands twisting in agony, and they jumped around, howling in pain. Their screams were so horrific that anyone who heard them would think they were slaughtering pigs. Chapter 3, This Kid's a Little Uncanny. The burly men felt as if their punches had just struck steel plates. "Shit, this kid's a bit uncanny," one of them gritted his teeth in pain, looking at Yi Chen with terror in his eyes. "What kind of dark magic did you use?" "I'm not using any dark magic, it's just that you guys are too weak. By the way, did you forget to eat dog food this morning? Your strength is so weak," Yi Chen mocked disdainfully. "This." The burly men exchanged glances, feeling uneasy. They could only force a smile and say, "Bro, it's getting late. We'll head home and rest now." "Want to go home?" "Sure. You punch me, and I'll punch you back," Yi Chen said, his gaze gradually turning cold. "Kid, don't push your luck. We don't want to fight today, but if you insist on causing trouble, we 5 can take you down easily. Do you think you can handle us all?" One of the men tried to intimidate Yi Chen with their numbers. Yi Chen didn't waste time talking. He struck directly. Boom. 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 5 powerful punches landed squarely on the faces of the men. They were knocked back, their noses crushed, blood spurting from their mouths, their faces disfigured, screaming in agony like they were dying. Just a moment ago, they were so arrogant, but now their appearance was nothing short of pathetic. Su Xiaoyan, who had witnessed the entire scene, was stunned for a moment, then her eyes sparkled with excitement. She immediately hugged Yi Chen's arm. "Big brother, you're hiding your abilities, huh? I didn't expect you to be skilled in martial arts. You're so amazing, can you teach me too? I've always wanted to learn martial arts." This was the first time Yi Chen had been praised like this, and he felt a little embarrassed, his face flushing. But there was another reason for his flush. Su Xiaoyan was hugging his arm so tightly that her soft and ample chest kept pressing against him, causing him to clearly feel the perfect softness. The most important thing was that he had forgotten to turn off his X-ray vision. When he looked down, he could clearly see through Su Xiaoyan's clothes, her snow-white chest moving up and down in front of his eyes. The visual impact almost made Yi Chen's nose bleed, it was too exciting. Yi Chen's ex-girlfriend, Jiang Qianxian, had a decent face but was flat-chested, so he had never seen anything like this before. The girl in front of him, who looked about to be an adult, had a chest that was overflowing, wave after wave. Yi Chen couldn't help but feel a surge of heat. He couldn't understand how she was so well developed. Big brother, will you teach me martial arts? Really, I really want to learn. I'm also a huge fan of Chen Long. Su Shaoyan hadn't expected to meet a real martial arts master, so she was eager to seize the opportunity. Cough, cough. Yi Chen quickly pulled his gaze away, hastily using his mind to close the X-ray vision. If he didn't, he was afraid he wouldn't be able to control himself. The images were just too stimulating. Miss, I'm not a martial arts master, I just have stronger strength and physical condition compared to ordinary people. I can't teach you, Yi Chen replied honestly. What do you mean, a little stronger? That's more like a billion times stronger. Stop pretending, I've seen dramas and novels, I know the conditions for hidden masters to take disciples. Tell me, what are your conditions? I'll see if I can meet them. Su Shaoyan hummed, excited. I really am not a martial arts master, and I'm definitely not some hidden master. I'm just a regular guy passing by. Yi Chen said helplessly. Anyway, you should head home. It's not safe for a girl to be out late alone. And next time, if you run into thugs like this again, don't be so strong-willed like you were earlier. If you have any status, it's better to mention it early on. If you angered those desperate men, the consequences would be unthinkable. Yi Chen spoke seriously, and from Su Shaoyan's expensive brand clothes and watch, he could tell she wasn't an ordinary person. Since she had some background, it was better to report her identity early to avoid angering the thugs. That would give her a much safer outcome. I was just waiting for my family's car to pick me up. It's just that there's a traffic jam, that's why I was a little late. Fortunately, you were here, or I'd have been in trouble. Actually, master, this is fate. Heaven arranged for you to save me, so I'm sure it's to help you move forward and teach me martial arts. Then I can walk all over my school and protect my followers from trouble. Su Shaoyan was now clinging to Yi Chen's arm, calling him master without hesitation. She clearly regarded Yi Chen as a martial arts master, and judging by her words, she even had followers at her university. Yi Chen was speechless and a little overwhelmed. All right, no more joking around. I've said it once again, I'm not a martial arts master. I've got to go now, Yi Chen said as he quickly left. Now that Su Shaoyan was safe, her family car had arrived to pick her up. It was a Maserati worth 8 million, clearly showing just how wealthy Su Shaoyan's family was. After getting into the car, Su Shaoyan pointed at the 5 burly men on the ground and complained, Uncle Fu, those guys tried to harm me just now. Thankfully, a master intervened, or I would been in trouble. Is that so? Uncle Fu, the driver, who had sharp facial features and was dressed in a tang suit, looked gloomy. His eyes flashed with murderous intent, and he quickly sent a text to his family, ordering them to take care of the situation. This was essentially a death sentence for those 5 men. In Jiancheng, anyone who dared to provoke the young miss of the Su family would have no other end but death. By the way, Uncle Fu, hurry up and follow that person. Be careful not to let him notice. Su Shaoyan pointed at Yi Chen's retreating figure. Oh? Is that the person who saved you, miss? Uncle Fu asked curiously. Yes, that person is really skilled in martial arts. I must become his disciple. Follow him, let us see where he lives, so we can contact him later. Su Shaoyan clenched her fist. Uncle Fu shook his head. Su Shaoyan was too naive. Martial arts was something that took years of practice, and no martial arts master was young. At least not the ones he knew. The young man might have some skill, but not much. He was enough to handle the burly men, but to call him a master was definitely an exaggeration. However, Uncle Fu still wanted to thank the person who saved his young miss, so he drove Su Shaoyan to follow Yi Chen. Meanwhile, Yi Chen was still immersed in the joy of his strength. After his recent display, he felt like he could punch through a cow. If he faced off against someone like Song Zakai's bodyguards, he was confident he could take them all down and make them wish they never crossed him. Song Zakai, Jiang Qianqian, you 2 adulterers better watch out. I won't let you get away with what you've done, Yi Chen cursed as he headed back to the staff dorm. When he reached the dorm building, however, he found that his luggage and clothes had been thrown out, left on the grass next to a garbage bin. If the bin was full, they probably would tossed his stuff right in there. Yi Chen's anger flared up. He rushed into the dorm and shouted, "Who threw my stuff out?" Seeing Yi Qian, his roommates all looked surprised. Yi Qian's roommates were all colleagues from the security department, and they got along well with him. "Old Yi, is this the manager of the business department, Song, and your girlfriend, Secretary Jiang? They called and said you quit, and wouldn't he be coming back? So, they arranged for someone to deal with your things and clear your bed," one of his roommates explained. "We wanted to stop them and ask what was going on, but we couldn't. They left right after throwing your stuff out." "Yeah, what happened? You were doing fine. Why did you quit?" Niu Jianlin, the security captain, handed Yi Qian a cigarette. Yi Qian didn't take it, his fists clenched tightly. He angrily said, "I didn't quit. I never said anything about quitting. That pair of bastards, they thought I'd die out there and were trying to finish me off." Chapter 4 Girls' Shared House. "Old Yi, what's going on?" Niu Jianlin heard some clues from Yi Qian's words and frowned slightly. Other security colleagues also came over to understand the situation. Yi Qian sighed. He didn't want to talk about this troublesome matter in detail. If he talked too much, he would be in tears and angry. "Old Yi, if you don't want to talk about it, forget it. But Manager Song has been making trouble with you to this extent. I'm afraid there will be no place for you in Xingshi Media Group. So, Brother Niu, I know a few friends. See if I can introduce you to a security job in other places. You find a place to settle down first, and then think about other things." Niu Jianlin patted Yi Qian on the shoulder and said sincerely that he has always been very loyal and caring for the brothers, so the brothers have always recognized him and are willing for him to lead the security team. Yi Qian was very moved. The captain, who had known him for less than a few months, was willing to help him in this way. On the other hand, what about Song Zikai and Jiang Qianqian, the adulterous couple? "It's chilling. Thank you, Brother Niu, but I have other plans now, so I won't need it," Yi Qian said. After all, security is a job with a very low threshold, no room for promotion, and low salary. The reason why Yi Qian is willing to work as a security guard in Xingshi Media Group is that he thinks that one day he can be transferred back to the business department and make a comeback. Now that there is no chance at all, he plans to find a job somewhere else. After all, at least he went to college, and he can definitely find a job with greater opportunities, higher promotion space, and more money. Alas, Lao Yi, you are top student and have studied, unlike the brothers who are all the fish that slipped through the net of 9-year compulsory education. You have greater ambitions, and I know that you want to find a better job. Brother Niu will not persuade you today, but remember, don't delete Brother Niu's phone number. If you encounter any difficulties in the future, call Brother Niu. Brother Niu will never give up if he can help." Niu Jianlin patted his chest and promised. Yi Qian was deeply moved and nodded seriously. After shaking hands with Niu Jianlin and saying goodbye, he left the dormitory alone. On the other side, Yi Qian folded the clothes on the lawn downstairs of the dormitory building and put them back into the suitcase. After sorting them out, he carried the suitcase and left the Xingshi Media dormitory building. The cold wind blew on the street, as cold as a knife. Yi Qian wanted to take a taxi, but found that his wallet had been snatched away by the damn Song Zikai's bodyguards. Of course, there was no bank card deposit. Before, the deposits were all given to Jiang Qianqian, under the pretext that it would be safer for her to save money. Now it seems that there is no safety at all fed to the dog. Of course, even if he had money to take a taxi, Yi Qian didn't know where to go, and he was homeless. Alas. Yi Qian sat on the street and sighed, planning to sleep on the street for a day, and find a job with food and accommodation as soon as possible tomorrow to settle down first, and then make long-term plans. Just then, a luxury car roared over. It parked steadily in front of him. He was practicing his perspective vision, but when he looked forward, he didn't see the car logo or the car body, but saw 2 round balls in the car through the car door. The 2 balls stood in front of him, with an astonishing size and perfect shape, making people want to take a bite. After looking for a second, Yi Qian felt something was wrong. Why did this piece of white look familiar? Su Shaoyan's face appeared in his mind. Yi Qian was shocked and closed his perspective vision, and found that it was the Maserati that had picked up Su Shaoyan before. At this time, Yi Qian felt that he could already recognize people by looking at the ball. At least he could recognize Su Shaoyan. "Master, don't you have anywhere to go today? Then come up first." Su Shaoyan waved at Yi Qian, and Yi Qian really got on the car. Master, are you the security guard of this company? That's amazing. TV dramas and novels are right. A true master is always extremely low-key and hidden in the city. You are martial arts master, but you are actually a security guard. Oh my god, that's amazing. After Yi Qian got up, the car restarted. Su Shaoyan kept talking, and her eyes were full of stars. Miss Su, you are wrong. I am really not a martial arts master. Yi Qian said earnestly, hoping that she would not misunderstand her anymore. Uncle Fu, who was driving, nodded slightly when he heard this. He had been observing Yi Qian. Yi Qian had no martial arts aura at all, so he could not be a master. If Yi Qian followed Su Shaoyan's words and admitted that he was a martial arts master, and deceived Su Shaoyan with some unknown purpose, he would drive Yi Qian away without hesitation. At the moment, it seems that Yi Qian not only did not lie, but also wanted Su Shaoyan not to misunderstand. It seems that this boy has good character and character. I don't believe it. You must be a martial arts master, but you just won't admit it. Those hooligans' fists are so big, like rocks. It's okay that you didn't get hurt after hitting you, but they themselves were hurt. If this is not a martial arts master, then what is it? Su Shaoyan firmly believed in her guess. Fu Bo was a little surprised. From Su Shaoyan's description, this Yi Qian seemed to be not as ordinary as he seemed. Maybe he really has some skills. Yi Qian didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I said, I'm just a little stronger than ordinary people. Oh, don't say it. Master, I guessed your current situation. You plan to change jobs, right? So, you become my martial arts master, and I will give you 100,000 yuan a month. Su Shaoyan hummed. 100,000, this number shocked Yi Qian, and he realized again that Su Shaoyan's life experience was extraordinary. A college student who looked like he had just reached adulthood casually said 100,000 a month. It would be a miracle if he could be ordinary. Of course, this number attracted Yi Qian very much, but Yi Qian really had nothing to teach Su Shaoyan. I want to earn this money, but I don't have the ability to earn it, so forget it. But I want to borrow 200 yuan from you. Of course, it's just a loan. I have nowhere to stay now. I plan to find a place to sleep today and find a job tomorrow. I will pay you back as soon as I earn money. Yi Qian said embarrassedly. Uncle Fu nodded repeatedly. Yi Qian could resist the temptation of 100,000 yuan without lying. On the contrary, knowing that Su Shaoyan was wealthy, he only borrowed 200 yuan and even promised to pay it back. It can be seen that Yi Qian is not a greedy person and has a good character. Thinking of this, Uncle Fu frowned again. Could Yi Qian be pretending to be for him? If so, this kid is too meticulous and his character is too terrifying at such a young age. What is his purpose in approaching Su Shaoyan? Are those strong men arranged by him to approach Su Shaoyan and specially direct a hero-saving beauty drama? Uncle Fu felt a chill down his spine just thinking about it. If Yi Qian knew that the rich woman's psychology was so rich, he would definitely spit out a mouthful of blood and beg him not to think too much. It's okay to borrow money for emergency, but you have nowhere to stay. Su Shaoyan said, her smart eyes turned, and said, there is an empty room in my house, you can live in it, all the furniture is there, you can just move in with your luggage. Fu Bo was anxious when he heard it, and he objected on the spot, Miss, this is not okay. You didn't even discuss it with Miss Xue Qian, Miss Xiao Xiao and Miss Yulong. Oh, I'll tell them later, and besides, the room is empty anyway, let my master move in, and it can also guarantee our safety. Su Shaoyan said, with the protection of the master, Dad doesn't have to worry that I and Sister Xue Qian will be targeted by bad guys and encounter danger when we share the house. Listening to the conversation between the two, Yi Qian was a little curious, thinking that this young lady Su Shaoyan didn't seem to live alone, but shared the house with many girls. Yi Qian smiled, you are all girls, and it is not convenient for me to be a man, so let it go. Before Yi Qian finished speaking, Su Shaoyan interrupted him directly, hugged his arm, and made a decision on the spot, it can't be forgotten. I have decided that the empty room belongs to you, master, don't say anything, move in tonight, we will go now. Chapter 5 Being pounced on by a female hooligan. Fu Bo was anxious and tried to dissuade her, but Su Shaoyan had an expression that did not allow negotiation. He really had no choice but to give up. After sending Su Shaoyan and Yi Qian to a luxury villa area in the north of the city, he immediately took out his mobile phone and made a call, Master, something happened here, miss. On the other side, Yi Qian was very surprised. When he heard about shared housing before, he thought it was a large flat in the community commercial housing. I never thought it was a villa by Penglai Lake. Penglai Lakeside Villa Area is a villa area for the rich developed by Penglai Group, a leading real estate enterprise in Jianghai City. The villa complex is built by the water, with beautiful scenery and fresh air. There are European castle-style villas and Chinese garden-style villas, which are extremely luxurious. It is said that the price starts at 150,000 per square meter, and the cheapest villa costs tens of millions. Yi Qian was a little embarrassed. Miss Su, if I come here to share a house, I may not be able to afford the rent. Oh, don't be so polite, master, just call me Xiaoyan, and don't worry about the rent. You are my master, even if you want to pay me rent, I can't collect it. Just move in with your bags, don't worry about anything else. Su Xiaoyan patted her chest generously. This is not good. There's nothing wrong with it. Master, just live here with peace of mind. Just think of it as a place that comes to protect us. Su Xiaoyan said with a smile, putting Yi Qian home. There is nowhere to go at the moment. Yi Qian didn't say anything more. Anyway, if he makes money later, he must make up the rent. He doesn't like to owe others. At the same time, he turned on his perspective eyes to explore some structures in the villa area and the surrounding situation. It doesn't matter if you don't look at it. Once you look at it, you will find that many inconspicuous places in the villa area, including the rooftops and courtyards of some villas, are hiding people wearing black clothes and sunglasses. They have been observing him and Su Xiaoyan. No need to think, it must be that Su Xiaoyan's family knew that she almost got into trouble just now, so they sent more people to protect her. Yi Qian nodded slightly. It seems that Su Xiaoyan is very valued by her family. About 5 minutes later, Su Xiaoyan took Yi Qian to a large European-style villa. Master, I'll open the door. Please help move the express over there. It should be the things that Sister Shuaye and her friends bought online. Su Xiaoyan pointed to the lawn beside her while searching for the key in her skirt pocket. There are several express boxes there, which were newly delivered today. Yi Qian was about to move them, but he was stunned on the spot the next second, and his old face couldn't help but blush. His perspective eyes were still on, so he could see through the surface of the express box and see what was inside. There was another box inside the box. On the surface of the box was a voluptuous, coquettish blonde with big waves, and a string of Japanese characters were printed around her, the top of the top, the joy of the clouds. Looking through the box again, you can see a stick-shaped, 17 centimeters long, 4 centimeters in diameter female sex toy, and it was an electric massage-enhanced version of the wolf tooth model. There were several express boxes next to their mace, which contained a series of female sex toys such as electric toy eggs, lubricants, etc. In addition, there were actually sexy lingerie, such as a black silk see-through dress, white over-the-knee suspender stockings, and several maid-cost costumes. Xiaoyan, will the tenants who share their house with you bring their boyfriends back or something? Yi Qian couldn't help asking Su Xiaoyan. No, we agreed before we rented together that for the sake of each other's privacy, we can date, but we have to live outside and not bring them home. What's more, Xie Qinjie and the others are all single and have not yet gotten married. Master, don't worry. No one here will peek at you practicing martial arts except me, your last disciple. Of course, no one will disturb you, master. Su Xiaoyan smiled and winked, looking like, I understand, master, don't worry. Obviously, she thought Yi Qian practiced martial arts on weekdays and didn't want to be disturbed. Yi Qian rolled his eyes when he heard this. When did he accept this guy as his last disciple? Also, why did she think that he was a martial arts master? It seems that he can only find an opportunity to explain it to her later to make it clear. Yi Qian withdrew his thoughts, a little puzzled. He thought that the owner of these sex toys must have a boyfriend, and these sexy underwear and toys were used when making love with her boyfriend. He never thought that all the tenants were single. In this case, if someone buys these sexy underwear, isn't it just to play with themselves? Damn, I don't understand the world of rich people, they really know how to play. Without thinking too much, Yi Qian closed his perspective eyes. It's not good to pry into other people's privacy after all, and these days, almost everyone has some little secrets and little habits of their own. You cannot love them, but you can't hurt them. Just respect them. After moving the pile of express boxes into their house, Yi Qian and Su Xiaoyan went to their own room. This is it, master, take a look. This room has everything except that it doesn't have a private bathroom, and you have to go to the bathroom opposite to go to the bathroom and take a shower. Su Xiaoyan introduced the room to Yi Qian. This is already very good, Xiaoyan, I will pay you the rent when I make money later. Yi Qian said seriously, his eyes lit up. This is the best house he has ever seen in his life. Not to mention the luxurious decoration, spacious and grand, air conditioning, computer, and desk are all available, and the equipment is very complete. Except that it is a little troublesome to go to the bathroom to take a shower, but that is not a big deal. You can get there in one step, which is not much different from being in the room. Okay, master, put your luggage first. Sister Xie Qian and the others should be off work soon. When they come back later, I will take you to meet them. Su Xiaoyan perfunctorily said to Yi Qian. She didn't care about the rent at all. What she cared about was learning kung fu. Recently, her classmates and subordinates in school have been bullied by some bad students and people outside the school. Only with kung fu can you really establish your prestige and deter those people. Su Xiaoyan's family has many bodyguards and masters with strong martial arts, such as Uncle Fu. But Su Xiaoyan's father resolutely did not let her learn martial arts, saying that girls should look like girls, and fighting and killing is not what it looks like. So Su Xiaoyan wanted to learn, but the bodyguards at home did not dare to teach her, for fear of making the master unhappy. Now that she finally has the opportunity, Su Xiaoyan will naturally seize it. In addition, Su Xiaoyan's intuition tells her that Yi Qian is definitely not an ordinary person. Speaking of physical strength, who can withstand the simultaneous attack of 5 iron fists and knock them back to death? Master is definitely not simple. He still refuses to admit that I am a martial arts master, which means he doesn't want to accept me as a disciple. This shows that he has not recognized me yet. I must redouble my efforts and strive to be recognized by him as soon as possible. The road I have to go now is still very long. Su Xiaoyan sighed in her heart as she went upstairs. If Yi Qian knew that her psychological activities were so rich, he would definitely spit out a mouthful of Lingxiao blood. On the other side, Yi Qian put his clothes into the closet in the room, took off his dirty security uniform, went to the bathroom to turn on the shower, and prepared to wash his body and change his mood. The hot water splashed on his body, raising a steaming mist. During this process, Yi Qian found that his body was a little hot, and a certain part was inexplicably swollen and uncontrollably. In fact, Yi Qian had long discovered that after being strengthened by the Qilin Kidney, his desires and all aspects had been greatly strengthened. Yi Qian and Jiang Qianxian had sex since they were just adults, so he had a lot of experience and a high threshold. Ordinarily, even if he could see through Su Xiaoyan and see her curvy body, he would not have a big reaction immediately. But before, on the street, just at the first glance, Yi Qian's most important part seemed to be about to explode, and he was so full that he felt very uncomfortable. It can be said that his yang energy was extremely excessive. It's a blessing, but it's actually very troublesome, especially when you're single. Yi Qian smiled bitterly and continued to wash his body. The shower was very powerful and the sound of water was so loud that he didn't even notice that the door of the villa was opened and he tiptoed to the bathroom like a thief, but he didn't notice it at all. Suddenly, in the next second, the bathroom door was pushed open. Su Xiaoyan, you lazy pig. You took a shower on the spot when you took the clothes down to wash, instead of going to your room. I court you now. I will teach you a lesson today. When this evil laugh full of treacherous meaning fell, a beautiful figure flew in. Wow, what's going on? Yi Qian was shocked and had no time to react. Unprepared, he was thrown to the ground by this woman. Chapter 6: The Mistress of Adult Products. He, you are scared, your voice has changed, I court you today, let me bully you. This female hooligan not only had no intention of stopping, but also frantically touched Yi Qian with her hands. But when she touched a hard object, and she was shocked, thinking that it was wrong. What is this thing? Su Xiaoyan should not have this. Suddenly, it seemed that she touched a lot of muscles just now, which could not be Su Xiaoyan's. She looked up and met Yi Qian's eyes in the next second. She was stunned on the spot and fell into endless stagnation. After coming to her senses, an extremely sharp scream burst out from her mouth, resounding throughout the villa area. Su Xiaoyan, who heard the movement, immediately came down to check the situation. What's going on, Sister Xia? Why are you screaming in the middle of the night? Su Xiaoyan came over and hadn't finished asking when she saw Qin Xia throwing herself on Yi Qian with an unknown object in her hand. Her face turned red on the spot. Sister Xia, what are you doing? It's broad daylight, why are you being a hooligan? She was so embarrassed that she quickly covered her eyes and dared not look. After all, Qin Xia and Yi Qian were too ambiguous in terms of posture and other aspects at this time. Su Xiaoyan covered her eyes, but she kept peeking at Qin Shia's hand. She had only seen that thing in biology textbooks before, and it was the first time she saw the real thing. She felt embarrassed and surprised. The real thing is much more majestic and magnificent than the one in the biology textbook. There was a lot of noise here, and the two girls who had just returned home also came over after hearing it. When they saw this scene, they screamed and quickly retreated with their eyes covered. Before leaving, he did not forget to pull Su Shaoyan away. This scene is not suitable for children. They shouted outside the door, "Qin Xia, why did you bring a man back without saying hello? Bringing him back is fine, but you did that. Not only did you do that, but you also shouted so loudly, and you didn't even close the door. Shaoyan is only 19 years old, and you let her watch this. What if she learns bad things? What the hell are you talking about, what that? Why are you shouting so loudly?" Qin Xia forced herself to calm down, grabbed Yi Chen from the ground, and slammed him against the wall, glaring at him. "Boy, who allowed you to sneak in here and act like a hooligan here? Let me tell you, I'm a policeman, you've fallen into your own trap this time. Damn it, you are the villain who complains first, who is the hooligan?" Yi Chen was so angry that he was about to vomit blood. He was taking a shower, and suddenly someone broke out, grabbed him there and acted like a hooligan, and even threatened to arrest him. "You are sitting at home, and the blame is coming from the sky. You are a hooligan and you don't admit it. I will kill you." Qin Xia was extremely ashamed and angry. She was very conservative in matters between men and women. She was 24 years old and had never even touched a man's hand. When she thought about how she grabbed that thing in a hurry, she wanted to die. But the feel of the real thing was like that. It seemed different from the model. No, now is not the time to think about that. Qin Xia was so angry that she wanted to fight with Yi Chen. "You've almost had enough. How can there be such a stubborn person?" Yi Chen was a little annoyed. He was in a bad mood today. He was a little angry when he encountered such a thing. He pushed Qin Xia away with force. Qin Xia almost slipped, and after stabilizing herself, she didn't hesitate at all and punched Yi Chen. She used a lot of strength to try to knock Yi Chen down. As a result, Yi Chen did not move at all, but her fist was numb. Qin Xia was alert at once. The boy in front of her seemed to have some kung fu. Yi Chen's face was slightly gloomy. This woman was really too much. It reminded him of Jiang Qianqian, the extremely mean and rude and hateful guy after changing her face. "Oh, stop fighting. Things are not what you think, Sister Xia." At the critical moment, Su Shaoyan heard the fighting and rushed back to the bathroom. Others don't know Yi Chen, but she has seen Yi Chen fighting gangsters. Strong as an ox. If the master is angered, Qin Xia will have a hard time. "Sister Xia, come out first. My master didn't sneak in, nor was he a hooligan." Su Shaoyan pulled Qin Xia, and Qin Xia frowned. "Master? I heard something was wrong at once. What's going on? Come out with me and tell me in detail. Master won't bother you anymore, just wash up first." Before leaving, Su Shaoyan couldn't help but glance at Yi Chen's thing again, and her face turned red with shame. Why does that thing look more and more beautiful the more you look at it, and it has an inexplicable function of stirring your heartstrings? It means that this guy saved you from the gangsters, and you want to arrange for him to continue to protect you and learn kung fu from him. He just happens to have no place to live, so you let him live in the empty room on the first floor. In the lobby of the villa, Qin Xia pointed to Yi Chen, who had already taken a shower and put on his clothes, opposite the sofa, and asked Su Shaoyan. Su Shaoyan had already described the whole story to her. She nodded. "Yes, that's why I said, Sister Xia, you misunderstood. You should apologize to my master." "Apologize? I grabbed his thing, and you still want me to apologize?" Qin Xia stood up from the sofa at once, her expression extremely ashamed and angry. "Nonsense, don't you know how hard you used just now? You almost broke my thing. That's my family's inheritance. If it damages my family's incense, who will continue it? Will you come?" Yi Chen loudly accused. "You are policemen, but you are so unreasonable. Go to hell, who will continue your incense?" Qin Xia was ashamed and angry, and accused Yi Chen for no reason. "Stop talking nonsense, I don't think you are a good person. Those gangsters may even be extras you invited, the purpose is to win Shaoyan's trust, and live here, you have ulterior motives." Yi Chen's eyebrows ytro. "Let's not talk about whether you are slandering or not. Even if what you said is true, what does it have to do with you almost catching me? You almost hurt me seriously. If I go to the police station to sue you, your boss will definitely fire you. You? Qin Xia stomped her feet with gritted teeth, hugged her arms and said coldly, Xiaoyan, I don't agree with this guy moving in. If you don't want to, then don't want to. At worst, I will move out. With a roommate like you who makes trouble, I guess I can't live in peace. Yi Chen doesn't tolerate this kind of person. He has had enough of Jiang Qianqian and doesn't want to suffer again. Pretend to pack your luggage and leave. Su Xiaoyan was anxious and stopped him immediately. No, no one can drive my master away. I have already decided on this. And Sister Xia, you are really wrong. My master is not the kind of person you think. In this matter, it is indeed you who made the mistake first. A man's thing is indeed very important and precious. Without it, how can the family line continue? Su Xiaoyan said earnestly, just apologize to my master. My master will also prove that he is not the bad guy you said. My intuition tells me that he is really good. It is impossible for me to apologize. Xiaoyan, if you must let him live in, it is not impossible, but I want to warn him in advance. I will keep a close eye on him. Once he has any illegal intentions, I will immediately take him to the police station and let him fall into the law. Qin Xia warned Yi Chen with a stern look. As a criminal police, she never believes in intuition, but only believes in facts. This kid is so young, but he is so strong, it seems that he has some kung fu. If he approaches Su Xiaoyan with illegal purposes, Su Xiaoyan will not be able to resist at all. This kind of dangerous person must be closely watched, and if necessary, it is not impossible to shoot him 10 times. I think you are psychopath, with paranoia. Yi Chen glared at Qin Xia. Qin Xia snorted coldly and didn't say much to Yi Chen. Anyway, she had decided to observe Yi Chen for a period of time. If this kid really has problems, she would never indulge him. Then, she carried the pile of express boxes on the table and went upstairs to her room. When Yi Chen saw this scene, his expression suddenly became extremely strange. After pondering for a moment, he changed the subject and asked Su Xiaoyan, Xiaoyan, let me ask you something, does this guy named Qin Xia have a boyfriend? Chapter 7 The Goddesses Who Share a Villa. No. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Yi Chen's question made the three women say in unison. Yi Chen didn't quite understand the reactions of the three women. Su Xiaoyan explained, if it was Sister Xia Chen or Sister Yulong, I would believe that any of them were secretly dating behind my back, but Sister Shi would never date. I'll tell you secretly, Shi is sexually indifferent and misogynistic. The girl next to her wearing a plain green elegant long skirt, with long black hair draped behind her like a waterfall, a delicate face with a little makeup, a slim and well-proportioned figure, and a shoulder bag on her waist, who has the temperament of a pure school beauty, is also one of the tenants here, Xia Chen said seriously. After speaking, she paused and added, she said it herself. We talked about many topics about the future, including love, marriage and so on. She always said that she would never get married in this life, and it's good to live alone without much pressure. She also said that she has never held a boy's hand since she was a child, and she is not interested. It's the same as you have held hands. The heavily made-up girl next to Xia Chen teased. This girl is very eye-catching, with delicate features. Even without makeup, Yi Chen determined that her appearance must be quite outstanding. She wore a navel-bearing tight vest on her upper body, and her proud part was extremely firm. She only had a pair of hot pants that reached her thighs on her lower body, and under the hot pants, 2 long black legs were exposed in the air. No matter what she wore or what she looked like, she was extremely hot. She had a big chest and long legs, more like a model than a model. Without turning on his perspective eyes, Yi Chen looked at her twice, and his kidneys almost broke out, and he almost couldn't hold back his gun. Xia Chen blushed slightly when she was teased, and lowered her head, unable to refute the girl with heavy makeup. She was also a conservative person in that aspect, and wanted to leave all the best first times for her future husband, so she was very reserved. Yi Chen, right? Let me introduce you to Xiaoyan. You already know her. You've also experienced Xia. She has a hot temper, but she's very warm-hearted and very loyal to her friends. You'll change your opinion of her after getting to know her for a long time. The one next to me is Xia Chen. She works in the HR department of Hanhai Finance. She has a big shortcoming, which is shyness. As a result, she doesn't dare to talk to anyone. She has social phobia and speaks softly. But she has an advantage. She has a very good temper and is very gentle. She is almost the opposite of Xia. In your words, she is a gentle and virtuous wife and mother. Qi Yulong introduced Xia Qian to Yi Qian. Xia Qian's ears turned red, and she interrupted, "Don't talk nonsense. What good wife and good mother? You are the type of good wife and good mother. You are good in the kitchen and in the living room, and you are so gentle and cute. If I were a man, I would sleep with you and marry you." Me too. If I were a boy, I would definitely pursue Xia Qian. Not only is she good-tempered and good at cooking, but she also has a good figure and a big butt. Maybe she can give birth to a reinforced company. Su Shaoyan echoed on the side, making Xia Qian even more embarrassed and annoyed, thinking that they were too outspoken. For a moment, she was at a loss and could only reach out to Yi Qian. "I am Xia Qian, please take care of me in the future." "Hello, my name is Yi Qian." Yi Qian smiled and shook hands with Xia Qian. He had a good first impression of this girl. "As for me, my name is Qi Yulong. It's hard to say my strengths and weaknesses. You'll know after we get to know each other more." Qi Yulong also shook hands with Yi Qian. "Since we're sharing a house, we're friends. If you have any difficulties, just tell me. I'll help you wherever I can." This generous and unconventional girl gave Yi Qian a good first impression. Anyway, except for that Qin Xia, the other roommates seemed to be pretty good. This gave Yi Qian some comfort. He thought that as long as he ignored Qin Xia, he wouldn't feel uncomfortable living here. "Actually, I'm facing some difficulties now." Yi Qian pondered for a moment and looked at Xia Qian. "Miss Xia, I heard that you are the HR specialist of Hanhai Finance. I want to ask, can you recommend a job for me? Any job is fine, as long as I can make money. I'm unemployed now. Of course, I also have a resume and academic qualifications, which can be sent to you." Yi Qian hurriedly added that he just wanted to go through the formal process of Xia Qian's introduction to interview at Hanhai Finance to see if he could get a position that suits his ability, not to ask Xia Qian to open a back door. After all, it would be very embarrassing and excessive to ask someone to open a back door directly when they just met. Hanhai Finance is a well-known financial enterprise in Jianghai. The company has assets of tens of billions and specializes in stock funds, industrial investment and other businesses. It has thousands of employees and good wages and benefits. If I can work there, at least I have a place to stay, and I can also plan for the future slowly, which is convenient for accumulating capital to fight against Sun Zikai and Jiang Qianxian. Well, this is very simple. Just tell Shaoyan. Xia Qian was looking at Su Shaoyan when she was interrupted by Su Shaoyan. She smiled at Yi Qian and said, "Master, this kind of small matter can be done by Xia Qian in a moment." "Right, Xia Qian." Su Shaoyan blinked her big watery eyes. Xia Qian nodded, indicating that it was no problem. In fact, her words didn't count. Su Shaoyan only needed one word to let Yi Qian join Hanhai Finance. "Add me on WeChat, send me your resume, and then come to the company for an interview tomorrow." Xia Qian and Yi Qian exchanged WeChat. Su Shaoyan and Qi Yulong also added Yi Qian on WeChat. Becoming roommates and having contact information meant that there was someone to take care of them, which was much more convenient. The four of them continued to talk about the mountains. It was getting late, so Yi Qian was ready to go back to sleep. Just as I was about to fall asleep, I received a WeChat message from Su Shaoyan. "Master, I don't know why you asked if Sister Xia has a boyfriend. Maybe you think she has a hot temper and is a fierce horse. After conquering her, you can satisfy the male's desire to conquer her, so you have the desire to conquer her. I, your disciple, know how powerful you are, but I remind you that Sister Xia is not an ordinary fierce horse. She is super fierce. If you want to ride her, you may be thrown off and smashed to pieces. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful." Important things should be said 3 times. In addition, Sister Xia should be conservative and a little feudal. She accidentally caught you doing that today, so she was so embarrassed. I believe she will apologize to you after she calms down. Don't blame her too much. No more words, good night. Su Shaoyan said this privately because she wanted to ease the relationship between Yi Qian and Qin Xia. Seeing these messages, Yi Qian didn't know whether to laugh or cry. How could he ask for trouble and provoke Qin Xia, that crazy woman? Asking her if she has a boyfriend is just weird. Why would she buy so many adult products and sexy lingerie costumes if she doesn't have a boyfriend? Yes, the express boxes Qin Xia carried were the ones Yi Qian had accidentally seen with his perspective eyes before. There was even a wolf tooth massage stick inside. It's a pity that Xia Qian, Qilin and Su Shaoyan really believed Qin Xia's words, thinking that she was a very serious, sexually cold person who was afraid of talking about men and women, which was in line with the image of a serious criminal police. In fact, those were probably all deliberately pretended by Qin Xia. The purpose was to hide the unknown private side behind the scenes. Like to wear that kind of clothes, use all kinds of fancy adult products on yourself. Yi Qian is not a virgin. Thinking of this, a very obscene picture naturally emerged in his mind, and for a moment, the Qilin Kidney effect was so strong that his pants almost broke. Of course, he would not point out Qin Xia's secret. He was not the kind of person who liked to tell other people's secrets everywhere. Besides, who doesn't have some unknown little habits these days? I can only say, it's normal. Without thinking much, Yi Qian went to bed and fell asleep. Chapter 8. I didn't sleep well because there was too much noise upstairs last night. Late at night, in Jianghai City, in a brightly lit villa. Fu, what did you say? A young man who knows a little bit of kung fu has moved into Xiaoyan's rental house. Upon receiving the report, the square-faced middle-aged man in a pajamas looked gloomy and put out his cigarette. What's his background? Even through the phone, Uncle Fu still felt a lot of pressure and cold sweat broke out on his forehead. His background is not clear at the moment, but he doesn't seem like a bad person and seems to have good character. Uncle Fu reported his investigation of Yi Qian in the car to the middle-aged man. This person's name is Su Zhenhai, the head of the Su family, a first-tier family in Jianghai. Su Zhenhai was silent for a moment, his deep dark eyes slowly narrowed into a slit. Send someone to check his past. Also, you observe him in secret to see what kind of person he is. If there is any unusual movement, tell me immediately. Don't let him hurt Xiaoyan's hair. He suddenly appeared, saving the beauty like a hero. He is so strong at such a young age. This kid must be extraordinary. Su Zhenhai made a judgment with a serious face. Yes, sir. But Uncle Fu hesitated, letting him live in the young lady's shared villa. If he really has ulterior motives, it would be like a wolf entering a sheep's den. You know Xiaoyan's temper. She's more stubborn than a cow. No matter how much we persuade her, it's useless. But it doesn't matter. I have already arranged people around the villa. If she dares to have any ill intentions, he. The moment Su Zhenhai's sinister laughter ended, a gunshot rang out from the other end of the phone. The meaning is very clear. Uncle Fu already felt a chill down his spine. The master's methods were quite cruel. There is another thing. The lady asked me to inform Hanhai Finance that she wants to arrange for that guy to work there. If I remember correctly, Hanhai International is a subsidiary of the Su Group. We have people there. Okay, let's send him there. It's just right for us to keep a close eye on him. At 8 o'clock in the morning, Yi Qian appeared in the living room of the villa with two panda eyes. Su Shaoyan, Qin Xia and Xia Qian are all here. Qin Xia gave him a cold look and went out to work. Su Shaoyan asked curiously, Master, you are familiar with your bed. Didn't you sleep well last night? Well, I indeed didn't sleep well, but it's not a matter of being accustomed to my bed. Yi Qian rubbed his hazy eyes, glanced in the direction Qin Xia left, and shook his head helplessly. Su Shaoyan saw Yi Qian's gaze and asked quickly, what's going on? Did Sister Shirwaye cause trouble for you last night? Yi Qian shook his head. That was not the case. The main reason was that not long after he fell asleep yesterday, he heard the sound of someone trying out sex toys in the room upstairs, and it lasted until 2 in the morning. Qilin Kidney not only strengthens the body, but also strengthens some body functions, such as hearing. This resulted in that even if Yi Qian buried his head in the quilt, he could still vaguely hear Xia Qian's enchanting voice through the ceiling, which was simply unbearable to the ears. The Qilin Kidney had already intensified Yi Qian's desire, and hearing that kind of scream in the middle of the night, his rocket launcher was about to explode. Even though the noise died down later, Yi Qian still had trouble falling asleep. Unhealthy images kept appearing in his mind. It's nothing, I just have some insomnia. It will be fine after 2 days of adjustment. Yi Qian made up an excuse and evaded the question. Well, I guess you're still a little used to your bed. You need to get used to this situation. Su Shaoyan said this and glanced at Xia Qian. Xia Qian nodded in understanding and said to Yi Qian, I have arranged the interview. Bring your resume and go to the company with me later. Yi Qian's eyes lit up. Great, thank you for troubling you. As roommates, we should help each other. Xia smiled sweetly. In fact, this was all thanks to Su Shaoyan and had nothing to do with her. She is just a small person and does not have much power. Su Shaoyan didn't want to take the credit because she saw that Yi Qian was a very self-respecting person. Just providing Yi Qian with a place to live made him very grateful and anxious. If a job was also arranged for him, Yi Qian might worry that he could not repay the favor and simply refuse to leave. How can I wait for an opportunity to learn martial arts from a master? What Su Shaoyan didn't know was that Yi Qian had vaguely guessed something through their eye contact, but he was not in a position to be pretentious now. The most important thing was to settle down as soon as possible. He will definitely repay this favor in the future. About 10 minutes later, Fu Bo came to pick up Su Shaoyan to go to Jianghai University, where she was a student. It just so happened that Hanhai Finance was not far from Jianghai University, so Xia Qian usually took the bus with Su Shaoyan. They only went home separately after get off work or school. After all, Su Shaoyan finished class very early. This time, Yi Qian was traveling with us. The Penglai Lakeside Villa district is not far from Hanhai Finance. 10 minutes later, Yi Qian and Xia Qian were dropped off in front of a towering office building. This office building is much more impressive than Xingsha Entertainment Media. I heard that Hanhai Finance is also an important investor of Xingsha Media, controlling 30% of Xingsha Media's shares. The two walked towards the company, and Yi Qian was in a good mood. Unexpectedly, as soon as I entered the door, a discordant and somewhat sharp female voice came from behind. Yi Qian. Looking back, Yi Qian frowned. Yi Qian, it's really you. Long time no see, almost half a year, right? The person who came was a woman with heavy makeup, a strong smell of perfume, and so much powder on her face that she could paint the wall. Xia Qian was curious, do you know each other? Well, I guess we know each other. Yi Qian did not deny that he did know this woman. Zheng Jihui, Jiang Qianqian's best friend. Yi Qian and Jiang Qianqian have been in love for 10 years, how could he not know her? However, Yi Qian has always had a bad impression of her and their relationship is very bad. Because this woman despises the poor and loves the rich, she also came from the countryside, but as soon as she arrived in the city, she dumped her rural boyfriend and found a rich local tycoon to marry. It would have been fine if she did that to herself, but the key point was that she kept mocking Yi Qian, openly or secretly, for being poor, having a poor family background, being a country boy, and being unworthy of Jiang Qianqian, and she also instigated Jiang Qianqian to break up with Yi Qian. Once, he showed off the latest model of Apple phone given to him by a rich man in front of Jiang Qianqian, which made Jiang Qianqian extremely envious. She began to complain that although Yi Qian worked very hard, he was afraid that even if he worked hard all his life, he would not be able to catch up with 1/10 of the rich man. Zheng Jihui took advantage of the situation and asked Jiang Qianqian to break up with him in front of Yi Qian. After agreeing, she would help introduce Jiang Qianqian to a rich boyfriend who would be 100 times better than Yi Qian. Yi Qian was furious at the time, and unable to bear it any longer, he slapped Zheng Jihui in the face. From then on, the two became enemies. Afterwards, Yi Qian reminded Jiang Qianqian several times, telling her not to associate with such people and not to be brainwashed. Unfortunately, Jiang Qianqian and Zheng Jihui have always gotten along well and have always had a close relationship. Yi Qian even felt that Zheng Jihui must have contributed a lot to Jiang Qianqian's current situation. Yi Qian, you are not dead. I heard from Qianqian that you tried to attack Manager Song of your company, and were beaten by Manager Song's bodyguards. You started to doubt your life. I didn't expect you to appear here the next day. You are really an indestructible cockroach. Zheng Jihui said sarcastically. Yi Qian's face turned pale. It seemed that Jiang Qianqian reported to Zheng Jihui as soon as they broke up. What a pair of good girlfriends who share the same ideals. By the way, you just got fired and you came to Hanhai International. Let me guess. Zheng Jihui said with a joking smile, boy, you are not here to find a job. What does it have to do with you? Yi Qian's voice gradually became colder. Har har, of course it has something to do with me. My husband is a senior executive of this company, and he knows Manager Song. They have a very good relationship, like brothers. You are disrespectful to Manager Song and want to beat him up, which is equivalent to going against my husband. How can I possibly let a farmer like you who is so rude and uncultured and only knows how to use violence take over my job? Zheng Jihui crossed her arms, looking arrogant and with an extremely mean expression. She still remembered the pain of the slap. If there was a chance to take revenge on Yi Qian, she would never miss it. Yi Qian's face suddenly darkened. What do you mean? My meaning is very simple, just one word: get out. Jing Jiawei stretched out a finger and pointed at the company gate. At this moment, Xie Qian couldn't stand it anymore and raised her eyebrows. Madam, who gave you the power to boss people around? Are you an employee of our company? When will it be the turn of outsiders to manage who we recruit? Chapter 9: Antiques from the Qianlong period? Who are you? Jing Jiawei glanced at Xie Qian, a hint of jealousy flashing in her eyes. Due to long-term use of cosmetics, Jing Jiawei's skin deteriorated. When she didn't wear makeup, she looked like an old witch, so she put on heavy makeup every day to cover herself up. As for Xie Qian, not only does she have a good figure, but at first glance, she doesn't wear any makeup except for a little blush and lipstick, and her skin is still so fair, smooth, and youthful and beautiful. I'm Xie Qian from the Human Resources Department. I am the wife of Li Haidong, the business manager. Jing Jiawei responded with her head held high, trying to overwhelm Xie Qian with her status. Xie Qian didn't buy it at all. So what? You are Manager Li's wife, and you don't work in the company. How can you have the right to interfere in our company's affairs? Ignore her, let's go. She's mentally ill and has nothing to do but to make trouble. Yi Qian didn't want to waste any more time with Jing Jiawei. Xie Qian nodded and took Yi Qian to the interview place. Jing Jiawei chased after her in a rage. Ms. Xie, have you been deceived by this Yi Qian? This Yi Qian has a long history of bad deeds. Not only did he destroy $1 million order from Xingxia Media, but he was also fired by Xingxia Media yesterday because he was jealous of his boss's talent and beat up his boss. How could you let such a person come to Hanhai International for an interview? Is he worthy? Jing Jiawei, since you are a woman, I didn't bother with you so much. If you keep looking for trouble and confuse right and wrong, don't blame me for being rude. Yi Qian lost his patience, turned his head, and a sharp light flashed in his eyes. This look scared Jing Jiawei so much that she took a few steps back, feeling a little afraid. The slap Yi Qian gave her a few years ago almost gave her a concussion. She didn't want to experience that kind of pain again. Seeing Yi Qian and Xie Qian enter the elevator, Jing Jiawei's eyes widened with anger. Hanhai International is a company where even the salary for cleaners is 5,000 yuan and the company offers a wide range of benefits, not to mention some other technical positions. Once you get the job, it's easy to earn over 10,000 yuan a month. If Yi Qian came to work here, life would be better in the future. Jing Jiawei couldn't accept Yi Qian's good life. The slap in the face was still fresh in her mind. She was a very petty person and she would definitely take revenge. Husband. Someone in your company bullied me, scolded me, and even beat me. If I hadn't run fast, I would have been beaten. Moreover, this person has a criminal record. He beat up your brother Song Zikai, and now he is even going to have an interview at Hanhai International. Jing Jiawei made a phone call, and as soon as the call was answered, she immediately put on a crying voice and cried loudly. On the other end of the phone, Li Dahai's face suddenly darkened when he heard about this situation. Is there such a thing? How dare you be so arrogant in my territory? I'll go down now, you wait for me. The other side. Yi Qian and Xie Qian arrived at the HR department floor. Arriving at the door of the manager's office, Xie Qian knocked on the door, then led Yi Qian in and said softly, Manager Fang, I brought the person here. Okay, you've worked hard. Xie Qian, you guys take a seat and rest. I'll take care of things here first. In the interview room, a middle-aged, fat-faced man in a suit, wearing gold-rimmed black-framed glasses, and holding a magnifying glass, was looking at the porcelain vase on the table with great interest. Xie Qian led Yi Qian to sit on the sofa and said softly to Yi Qian, This is our HR manager Fang Wanhong, who loves antiques and other things. He is a very nice person. The interview will start soon. Please hand in your resume and introduce yourself. Okay. Yi Qian nodded. There was nothing to do, so he watched Fang Wanhong and the old man next to him, who was wearing a tang suit and had a beard on his chin, fiddling with the vase. About 5 minutes later, Fang Wanhong said excitedly, The workmanship and details are indeed like the top-grade imperial porcelain produced in the official kilns of Jingdezhen, the capital of porcelain, during the reign of Emperor Qianlong, and specially supplied to the imperial palace. It's not just a resemblance, it's exactly the Qianlong imperial porcelain. A friend of mine from the Treasure Appraisal Association has authenticated it for me, and it's genuine. Then I spent 3 million to buy it right away. Har har, I've made a fortune this time. The old man stroked his beard and laughed heartily with his head raised. My God, the person who sold you this vase must not know the value of it. This imperial porcelain from the Qianlong period is worth a minimum of 5 million. You made at least 2 million just by going back and forth. Fang Wanhong's tone was full of envy. Har har, this is vision and luck. It's all because of that little vendor who said this was some kind of porcelain from the Republic of China period and sold it at a lower price. But I could tell at a glance that it was extraordinary. I made 2 million right away. The old man looked very proud and felt very happy inside. As he spoke, his eyes rolled around, and he patted Fang Wanhong on the shoulder, winking. Old Wan, I see you are very excited. Let's put it this way. We have known each other for 7 or 8 years. If you really want it, I will sell it to you for 4 million and only make half the profit. What do you say? Fang Wanhong seemed very interested from the beginning to the end. He was a famous antique collector in Jianghai City and spent all the money he earned from work on this. Qianlong Imperial Porcelain, the top-level antique in the antique world, is the dream antique of all antique collectors. But it still felt a bit painful for him to take out 4 million at once. At the same time, Yi Chen listened to the conversation between the two and couldn't help but feel curious. An antique worth 4 or 5 million. This is really a rare thing. Since he had nothing to do, Yi Chen used his mind to activate his X-ray vision and planned to study the internal and external details and structure of the antique, so that if he encountered such a thing in the future, he would not miss the opportunity. After staring carefully for a while, Yi Chen frowned, as if he saw something strange. He looked at it carefully for a few more seconds, and his expression suddenly became strange. There is actually a pattern of Emperor Qianlong flying a plane inside this so-called antique vase. What's wrong? Noticing Yi Chen's expression, Xie Chen came over and asked Yi Chen softly. That vase is not an antique, it's fake, a forgery. Fake? Xie Chen was shocked. Then this old man is trying to deceive manager Wan. Well, it's possible. Yi Chen narrowed his eyes slightly and nodded. When the old man said that he would give up half of the profit and sell the vase to Fang Wanhong, a cunning smile obviously flashed in his eyes. Old Wan, antiques from the Qianlong era are hard to come by. You won't be at a loss or be cheated if you buy them for 4 million. I specify a minimum price of 5 million when selling to others, but I'm selling them to you at such a low price because you're my friend. You must seize the opportunity, otherwise if you miss this opportunity, you'll miss it forever. The old man said earnestly, patting Fang Wanhong on the shoulder. Just when Fang Wanhong gritted his teeth and seemed to have made a decision, Xie Chen stood up hurriedly and said, No. Manager Wan, he is trying to cheat you out of your money. This vase is not a piece of Qianlong Imperial porcelain at all. It's a fake. Chapter 10 Affirmation from Experts. Seeing Fang Wanhong was about to pay, the old man's mouth was about to split with laughter. After Xie Chen said this, Fang Wanhong stopped and the old man's face darkened. Fang Wanhong turned around and said, Xie Chen, where do you get this from? How do you know that this vase is a fake? Oh. Xie Chen was suddenly embarrassed and looked at Yi Chen. Oh. My beautiful lady, was it him who told you that this vase is a fake? The old man narrowed his eyes and looked at Yi Chen. Yi Chen looked calm. I said that. Oh. The old man raised his eyebrows. What makes you say this is a fake? What evidence do you have? You are just talking nonsense. Forget it, Lao Fang. Since your people are suspicious of me for no reason, I won't do this business. Anyway, I am only willing to give up because we have known each other for many years. The old man snorted angrily, expressing his dissatisfaction. Mr. Hu, stop it. Calm down. Let me ask what's going on first. Fang Wanhong hurriedly calmed Hu Yingcai. He didn't want to lose the Qianlong Imperial porcelain. Young man, are you an expert in treasure appraisal? Fang Wanhong asked Yi Chen. Yi Chen shook his head and said truthfully, I don't have much experience in appraising treasures. Then you must have a lot of antiques in your house. Oh, no, my family is average and I can't afford those things. Yi Chen scratched his head. To be honest, he had never come into contact with antiques since he was a child. However, at the first glance through the perspective, he instantly realized that this vase, which appeared to be exquisitely crafted, was actually a fake. It was not his X-ray vision that gave him the ability to identify treasures, but because there was a pattern engraved in an inconspicuous place inside the vase. Since the mouth of the vase is very small and the inside is very dark, You can't see it at all if you look normally. Thanks to his X-ray vision, Yi Qian could see clearly that it was a rather funny pattern of Qianlong flying a plane. It took more than 100 years for airplanes to appear. If this is an antique from the Qianlong period, it must be fishy. Boy, you are pretending to know everything. You have never seen antiques, yet you actually slander my imperial porcelain as fake. Hu Yingxai shouted, pointing at Xie Qian, and you, what do you believe in what he says? I believe Yi Qian has his reasons for saying that. There might really be something wrong with this vase. Xie Qian didn't know why, but as soon as she heard what Yi Qian said, she believed it. Now I still want to stand on Yi Qian's side. I believe Yi Qian is not talking nonsense. At this time, the office door was pushed open and a man and a woman walked in. Seeing the woman among them, Yi Qian frowned. Zheng Jiawei. There is no doubt that the person next to her is her lover, Li Donghai, the business manager of Hanhai International. Miss Xia, I'm not saying that you are pretty, but your IQ is a little low. It's a very simple logic. No matter if there is a problem with this vase or not, even if there is, this kid can't understand it. Appraising antiques requires experience, which is accumulated over time, and it also requires a strong financial background. Otherwise, how can you afford antiques? I happen to know him. This guy comes from a rural village in the mountains. The only antique he has seen is his family's earthen tile house, which is over 100 years old. He is extremely poor. He often goes to school hungry and has to work to earn tuition. How can such a person know how to appraise treasures? In my opinion, this guy just wanted to show off in front of you and attract your attention, so he deliberately said that to you. How dare you believe him? As soon as Zheng Jiawei opened her mouth, she started to make a series of sarcasm, with an expression that showed that she saw through everything. She and Li Donghai came here to say hello to Fang Wanhong and ask manager Fang to stop Yi Qian from joining Hanhai International. She never thought that this guy would pretend to be so powerful and turned himself into a treasure appraiser. It's really embarrassing. Li Donghai sneered, no wonder he was kicked out of Xingshi Media. He is not doing his job properly and doing immoral things every day. This kind of person has a problem with his character. Well, let me take a look. Li Donghai stared at the vase for a few seconds. He also studied antiques. After seeing this, he exclaimed on the spot, oh my god, the workmanship is so top-notch, how could it be a fake? This guy is just lying with his eyes open. That's right, this is the real deal. Hu Yingxai sneered, at first I didn't understand why this guy said that. It turns out that he just wanted to pick up girls and talk nonsense, trying to show off his so-called ability. Fang Wanhong shook his head helplessly, young man, you can chase girls, but you have to be down to earth. Don't take shortcuts. This series of ridicule and questioning made Yi Qian frown. Originally, he didn't want to get involved in this matter. He just wanted to complain to Xie Qian, saying that Hu Yingxai was shameless and even cheated his friend of many years. After all, it wasn't Fang Wanhong's money that he spent, so to be honest, it had nothing to do with him if he was cheated. As a result, people like Zheng Jiawei and Hu Yingxai were so arrogant and kept talking non-stop. In this case, we can't just let this matter go so easily. Manager Fang, if you don't believe me, then contact the Jianghai Treasure Appraisal Association and ask them to help with the appraisal. Yi Qian said calmly. Yes, let's check it out. Xie Qian's intuition told her that Yi Qian was not the kind of person who would seek attention, so she spoke up for Yi Qian. Why do we need to identify it? From my experience, this is a genuine antique. If you are so indecisive, don't buy it. I will offer you 5 million. Li Donghai was very generous. Hu Yingxai was delighted and agreed, if you really want to buy it, Manager Li, I can sell it to you. Husband, you can buy it but you can also have it appraised. Let's see what he has to say when the results come out. Zheng Jiawei was determined to see Yi Qian make a fool of himself. Yi Qian just sneered and uttered 2 words, clown. Zheng Jiawei was furious, still pretending, wait until the test results come out and see what you have to say. Then let's have it identified. There's no harm in doing so. What do you think, old Hu? Fang Wanhong asked. Can. Hu Yingxai pretended to be calm. At this point, if he didn't allow an appraisal, it would seem too suspicious. He glared at Yi Qian fiercely. If Yi Qian ruined his plan, he would make Yi Qian pay. Yi Qian ignored it. Fang Wanhong contacted his friends in the Treasure Appraisal Association. 5 senior experts were quickly found to help with the identification via online video. The identification process was very long. During this process, Huingsai was obviously a little nervous, and cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Yi Qian saw it and sneered in his heart. Let us see how long this old man can keep pretending. 5 minutes later, the 5 experts said that the identification was almost complete. What's the matter? Fang Wanhong asked hurriedly. The 5 experts looked at each other, nodded, and said in unison, after our appraisal, we are 100% sure that this vase is authentic and is indeed an antique from the Qianlong period. The field fell into dead silence. Next second. Burst into laughter. Chapter 11 Qianlong flying a plane. What a fake! Har har, I knew it. How could such a poor guy from the countryside know anything about treasure appraisal? And he keeps talking stubbornly. Zheng Jiawei sneered. On Li Donghai's side, with a joking and sarcastic smile on his face, he couldn't wait to transfer money to Huingsai. 5 million was transferred directly. This means that he bought this imperial porcelain from the Qianlong period before Fang Wanhong. Fang Wanhong almost fainted from anger. He glared at Yi Qian and demanded an explanation from Yi Qian. If Yi Qian hadn't been causing trouble, how could this vase have been snatched away by Li Donghai? Yi Qian raised his eyebrows. Are you really experts from the Treasure Appraisal Association? You are not here to make fun of us. This vase is obviously fake, a forgery. Har har, young man, you are young and frivolous. You can speak nonsense, but I advise you not to question our treasure appraisal skills. This vase is a masterpiece in terms of both workmanship and craftsmanship. It is definitely an antique. And considering its artistic value, we estimate that it will be no problem to sell it for 7 or 8 million. The 5 experts talked one after another, making Li Donghai and Zheng Jiawei very happy. The value of the vase exceeded their imagination. They bought it for 5 million and sold it for 7 or 8 million. It was a huge profit. The two of them were very happy and looked at Fang Wanhong with a hint of mockery in their eyes. Fang Wanhong's heart was bleeding. He actually missed such a precious thing. Okay, you insist that this vase is real, right? I thought that with your level of treasure appraisal, you could get a glimpse of the truth, but I didn't expect you to be blind and mistook a fake for an antique. In that case, I will let you see with your own eyes whether this is the antique you mentioned. Yi Qian laughed, snatched the imperial porcelain from Li Donghai's hand and raised it into the air. Li Donghai was stunned for a moment, and the next second his eyes widened with anger. Boy, what do you want to do? Stop it. Absolutely not. Fang Wanhong shouted. This was a treasure of human art. Even if he failed to buy it and someone else snatched it away, he didn't want it to be destroyed. Yi Qian, you are crazy. You are breaking the law. I will send you to jail. Zheng Jiawei cursed and tried to snatch it. This is an antique worth 7 million. Even Xie Qian was startled and shocked. Yi Qian, calm down. I don't need to calm down. I just want you to see whether this vase is real. After Yi Qian finished speaking, he smashed the vase onto the table without saying anything else. There was a loud clang and the vase broke into pieces all over the table. At this moment, Li Donghai was furious and grabbed Yi Qian by the collar. Alpaca, you dare to destroy my baby, I will kill you. Get out. Yi Qian didn't want to tolerate this guy and kicked him out. Zheng Jiawei rushed over and Yi Qian slapped her away. Bang! There was a crisp sound, and a blood mark appeared on Zheng Jiawei's face. She fell to the ground with her head raised, screaming in pain. I recalled again the fear of almost getting a concussion. You smashed my antiques and hit me, you really don't want to live anymore. Li Donghai was furious and wanted to kill Yi Qian, but at this moment, Fang Wanhong, who had been stunned for a long time, exclaimed, Fuck, this is really a fake. Yi Qian didn't lie. As soon as this voice came out, everyone present except Yi Qian, including those senior experts, were all stunned, with puzzled expressions on their faces, not knowing what Fang Wanhong meant. Old Fang, why do you say that? How can this be a fake? Li Donghai suppressed his anger and quickly stood up to ask Fang Wanhong. Look for yourself, look at the pattern. Fang Wanhong pointed to a piece of broken vase on the table. Li Donghai and Zheng Jiawei took a closer look and almost vomited blood. Those 5 so-called senior experts also looked as if they had seen a ghost. After seeing it, Xie Qian couldn't help but burst out laughing. Oh my god, this is the pattern of Emperor Qianlong wearing a dragon robe and flying a plane. Yi Qian stole a glance at Xie Qian and was attracted by her smile. Her smile was like the warm spring breeze, which made people feel relaxed and happy at just one glance. At the same time, senior experts came to their senses and were shocked. During the Qianlong period, not to mention airplanes, even the prototype of the car had just been invented. They were very embarrassed. This is really a fake. It shouldn't be right. The workmanship is so fine, it can't be a fake. Facts speak louder than words. Yi Qian rolled his eyes and said, a fake is a fake. No matter how well it is made, it can never be a real antique. The experts were all blushing and wished they could find a hole to crawl into. They used to think that Yi Qian was a clown, pretending to know everything and just fooling around. Little did he know that he and others were wrong and Yi Qiansai was right. You guys didn't take Hu Yingsai's money and are playing a double game with him. After laughing, Xie Qian felt something was wrong and couldn't help but question the experts. The experts were embarrassed and said, we are professionals and rarely make mistakes. The main reason is, it's mainly because it's on a cell phone screen, so it's hard to identify. Yes, that's right. The experts found an excuse and made a strong defense. After the explanation, they all left the video call. There's no way, this time it's really embarrassing. At this moment, Fang Wanhong was extremely grateful. He held Yi Qian's hand and thanked him excitedly. Thank you so much, little brother. If it weren't for you, I would have lost 4 million. That's all my assets. I would have gone bankrupt. It's okay, it's just a piece of cake. Yi Qian smiled, paused for a moment and said sarcastically, it's mainly because you, Manager Fang, are more rational. Unlike someone who spent 5 million to buy a bottle worth 50 yuan and is still complacent thinking that he made a lot of money. Fang Wanhong naturally knew who Yi Qian was talking about, and felt a little gloating. Let Li Dongge rush to buy the vase, and now he's getting his comeuppance. Where is that old man, where is that profiteer old businessman? Li Donghai looked around angrily, wanting Hu Yingsai to give an explanation. As a result, Hu Yingsai had already escaped without anyone noticing. There, that old man is there. Zheng Jiawei screamed loudly, pointing at an old man running away through their window. Looking over there, it was Hu Yingsai. Hu Yingsai waved goodbye over here, his mouth was splitting with smile. All the good things were ruined by Yi Qian, but who knew that a big idiot would appear halfway and buy the vase as if it were a treasure? This was the first time he had encountered such a thing. Without even saying a word, Li Dongge hurriedly paid and transferred the money over. There are idiots every year, but there are especially many this year. Watching Hu Yingsai get on a black car and the black car drove away at a high speed, Li Donghai held his head and cried bitterly. He knew that his 5 million was wasted and he could never get it back. Chapter 12, It's hard to persuade the damn ghost with good words. It's hard to persuade the damn devil with good words. Xie Qian shook her head and sighed. Xie Qian, you can watch, but please don't laugh at me. I've been cheated out of 5 million, and I'm already feeling very upset. Li Donghai said angrily with his heart bleeding. If it were someone else, he would have cursed long ago. But all the top executives of Hanhai International knew that Xie Qian had a very good relationship with Su Shaiyan, the eldest daughter of the Su family, and they even shared a villa. Even if the chairman came, he would never dare to reprimand Xie Qian. Otherwise you will definitely have to pack up and leave the next day. That's not what you said when you mocked Yi Qian for not knowing how to appraise treasures. Xie Qian said lightly. He is just a blind cat that caught a dead mouse. What's the big deal? Li Dongge and Zheng Jiawei were stubborn to the end, gritting their teeth and full of resentment. How could they have thought beforehand that Yi Qian was not just trying to attract attention? If I had thought of it earlier, I would never have paid that 5 million. This guy is really weird. He can see through the treasures that even senior experts can't identify. All right, little brother, I won't say thank you anymore. I owe you a favor this time. If you encounter difficulties in the future, please contact me and I will help you to the best of my ability. Now let's talk business. About your joining the company. Fang Wanhong was about to discuss this with Yi Qian, but Zheng Kaihui yelled, No, I can't allow Yi Qian to work at Hanhai International. I mean the same thing. We can't let him come. This kid has a long criminal record and a bad record. I've already found out. When this guy was a salesman at Xingshi Media Group, he ruined a multi-million-dollar order. After being punished by his boss Song Zikai and sent to the security department to reflect on his actions, he even wanted to beat up Song Zikai. How can we allow such a perfidious, violent maniac who doesn't respect his superiors into our company? Li Dongge and Song Zikai knew each other privately and had a very good relationship. When he learned from Jin Kaihui that Yi Qian was coming for an interview, he contacted Song Zakai as soon as possible. Song Zakai's meaning is very simple: don't let Yi Qian succeed. I want this kid to live on the streets forever, living a miserable life, like a surat. In addition, Li Donghai was extremely unhappy because he had just lost 5 million, so he strongly opposed Yi Qian's employment. Har, you are in collusion with each other and are really good at turning the tables. You are confusing right and wrong like this. Aren't you afraid of retribution, getting hit by a car or struck by lightning? Yi Qianqi laughed. These people are too shameless. Don't talk nonsense. I came here today to stop you, a black sheep, from entering Hanhai International. Otherwise, one bad apple will spoil the whole barrel. Lao Wan, please give me some face. Get this guy out of here. Li Donghai lit a cigarette and handed it to Fang Wanhong. He didn't notice that Xie Qian was calmly drinking tea at this time, treating his behavior as a clown show, as if she already knew what the ending would be. Fang Wanhong had a sullen face and didn't even take the cigarette. He scolded, "Manager Li, you are overstepping your authority. I am the head of the Human Resources Department. I decide who to hire and who not to hire. What qualifications do you have to give orders?" Li Donghai was stunned. He thought that such a small matter could be solved by just saying a word, considering his long-term friendship with Fang Wanhong. Unexpectedly, Fang Wanhong didn't give him face. Li Donghai was a little annoyed. "Lao Fang, just give me some face. Let's not talk about this. If our company doesn't recruit such an outstanding talent like Brother Yi Qian, other companies will. If he goes to our rival company, we will have a terrifying business rival. Can you afford this responsibility?" "Manager Fang, you are wrong. What kind of talent is he? He is just a poor farmer." Before Jing Jiuwei could finish, Fang Wanhong flew into a rage. "If you dare to say another word, I will never let you set foot in Hanhai International. How dare you, an outsider, come here and point fingers at me?" Jing Jiuwei's face darkened and she didn't dare to refute anymore. The HR director is often one of the most powerful positions in every company. He controls the life and death of 90% of the people in the company. As long as Fang Wanhong says hello to the security team, she will never be able to set foot in Hanhai International again, even if her husband is a business manager. After all, the business manager has no dealings with the security team, and if the security guards in the security team dare to disobey the Human Resources Department, they will be fired the next day. I didn't dare to say anything more for a moment. "Lao Fang, you really won't give me this face?" Li Donghai's face turned pale. Fang Wanhong pointed at the gate. His meaning was very clear: "Farewell, I want to see you off. Yi Qian, don't think that everything will be fine once you join Hanhai International. You slapped me last time, and you slapped me again today, and you even kicked my husband. I will never let you go." Jing Jiuwei was extremely embarrassed. This time he came here to teach Yi Qian a lesson, but unexpectedly he became a clown. The HR manager doesn't give any face at all. I can only speak harshly in anger. Li Donghai also felt extremely ashamed and lost a lot. Not only was he not stopped from joining the company, he was also defrauded of 5 million and kicked. Before leaving, Li Donghai glared at Yi Qian. Yi Qian ignored him and handed his resume to Fang Wanhong with a smile. "Brother Yi, you have a good education and work experience, so there will be no problem for you to get the job. So, go downstairs and find Captain Xiong Baogua at the security team on the first floor. You will work for Captain Xiong in the future. I'll call him and ask him to take good care of you." After a few symbolic glances, Fang Wanhong made work arrangements for Yi Qian. Yi Qian was stunned for a moment. He didn't even say what position he wanted, so why did Fang Wanhong assign him to the security team? "Manager Fang, if possible, I would like to be a salesperson, or work in a finance-related department, even if I start as an assistant," Yi Qian said sincerely. "There is no future in being a security guard after all. If you want to move up and get more development prospects, you must work in business or finance." Now it was Fang Wanhong's turn to be confused. Last night, Hanhai International's boss, Su Zhenhai's butler Fu Bo, contacted him and asked him to arrange for Yi Qian to join the company. When asked what position he would be assigned to, Fu Bo replied that he would be a security guard. This was said by a big shot from the head office, so Fang Wanhong naturally did not dare to neglect it, so he arranged Yi Qian to the security team. Who knew Yi Qian had other ambitions? What was going on? Well, Yi Qian, you go and work in the security department for a while. I will find out about the job vacancies in the business and financial departments later and arrange a job for you then. Fang Wanhong said. He decided to find a time to contact Uncle Fu and ask for his opinion first. As for Li Donghai's unhappiness, having offended someone who knew Uncle Fu, Li Donghai would probably step into the abyss step by step, and he would be doomed. If you are unhappy, then be unhappy. It doesn't matter. This guy is going to be doomed anyway. Okay then. Yi Qian felt helpless. Things went against his wishes and he ended up working as a security guard. However, he had no other choice at the moment. He could only keep doing it and see if there would be any turning point later. Fuck, you're asking for this and that, and you want to work in finance. You rubbish, why don't you take a piss and see if you deserve such a high-end job? Yi Qian left the manager's office and was about to report to the security team accompanied by Xie Qian. As soon as I entered the elevator, I saw Zheng Kaihui and Li Donghai. These two people were haunting me. Zheng Jiuhui pointed at Yi Qian's nose and scolded him, saying that he was ambitious but incompetent. Yi Qian, I won't give you a chance to turn things around. You are only fit to be a security guard. The business department won't want you, and the finance department will want you even less. I'm the business manager, and the finance manager is my younger brother. Li Donghai said resentfully. The place where he was kicked by Yi Qian was still in a bad state, so naturally he would not give Yi Qian a good face. Yi Qian doesn't tolerate these two people at all. Bang! Bang! 2 slaps in the face stunned them. I'm warning you, don't mess with me, or you'll lose your job and I'll let you know the consequences. Also, tell Song Zikai and Jiang Qianqian that their good days won't last long. I will let that adulterous couple know what regret is. Yi Qian's eyes turned cold and he issued an ultimatum. Zheng Jiuhui and Li Donghai were beaten for the second time and were furious. Who would dare to beat them under normal circumstances? But Yi Qian's gaze was as if he wanted to eat someone, it was too scary. They didn't dare to look him directly and could only lower their heads and swallow their grievances. Chapter 13 I'm going to help you relieve your chest, oh no, bad omen. When he arrived at the security team, thanks to Fang Wanhong's special care, Yi Qian was warmly welcomed by a group of security guards led by team leader Xiong Baogua. And you don't have to work outside in the sun, your job is just to sit in the department office and watch the surveillance. Pretty easy work. The treatment is even better than Xiong Baogua's. After all, even Xiong Baogua has to direct the work outside during work hours. In other words, except for rest time, this office belongs to Yi Qian alone. The environment here is actually quite good. Yi Qian, just do this job first. I'll ask the manager later if he can let you go to the position you want. In the security department office, Xie Qian smiled slightly. Okay, thank you for troubling you this time. Yi Qian knew that Xie Qian must have put in a lot of effort and hard work. There's nothing to thank me for. By the way, how did you know at first glance that the vase was a fake? Xie Qian was a little curious. I said I have a golden eye that can see through the bottle to see inside. Do you believe me? If I believe it, there must be something fishy going on. If you don't want to tell me, then don't tell me. Don't make fun of me. Xie Qian pouted, as if she took Yi Qian's words as a joke. But she was very sensible and didn't ask any further questions. Everyone has their own secrets, and that's normal. Yi Qian didn't explain much, because no one would believe it even if he explained it. Okay, you can work here. I still have work to do, so I'll go upstairs first. Good. Yi Qian sent Xie Qian out. Before she had gone far, Yi Qian felt something was wrong and said, Xie Qian, wait a moment, don't move. Xie Qian was puzzled, what's wrong? Yi Qian did not respond, but stared at her forehead and the top of her head for a few times. His face changed slightly. I didn't notice it just now, but now I see that your forehead is black and the top of your head is a bad omen. This is a sign that you are about to suffer a bloody disaster. Come in with me, I will think about how to help you get rid of the bad omen. What, cancel, what? Xie Qian's ears turned red when she heard this, and she spat. Yi Qian, there are outsiders here in broad daylight, what are you talking about? Watch your words. It's not a breast photo, it's a bad omen. I'm serious, I'm not kidding. Yi Qian looked serious. He did not turn on his X-ray eyes at this time, but even without it, his eyes could see more things than before. For example, there was a faint blackening under the strands of hair on Xie Qian's forehead, and there was some black gas on the top of her head. Yi Chen doesn't understand feng shui, but as a Chinese, he has heard since he was a child that a black forehead indicates a disaster. Stop joking. I still have to go to work. Just wait until I get off work at noon. Xie Qian still thought Yi Chen was joking, so she didn't take it seriously and turned away. At this moment, the ceiling above her head suddenly loosened. Smash it down on the spot. R. Xie Qian screamed and was so panicked that she had no time to dodge. If you get hit by this ceiling, your head will definitely be cracked and you may even faint. Fortunately, Yi Chen was quick-witted and rushed forward at the first moment, grabbed her waist, pulled her back suddenly, and held her in his arms, so that she did not end up with a bloody head. But the situation was not optimistic. During this process, Xie Qian felt a bone fracture in her foot. How are you? Yi Chen hurriedly asked Xie Qian, who was lying in his arms. I think I sprained my foot, and it seems that my muscles are sprained. Xie Qian said with some pain and shyness, feeling uncomfortable. It was the first time for her to fall into a man's arms, and it was hard to describe what this feeling was. Sprained a bone. This is a big problem. If you don't treat it in time, you may be unable to get out of bed for several months. Yi Chen said this and picked up Xie Qian by the waist. What are you doing? Xie Qian was embarrassed and annoyed, and punched Yi Chen twice in the chest. She had no experience in love and had never had such intimate contact with the opposite sex. What else can I do? I have to find a way to treat your injury. I just told you that your forehead is black and you are going to have a bloody disaster, but you didn't believe it. Otherwise, how could this happen? Yi Chen ignored Xie Qian's small fists. Her fists were soft and weak, and it didn't hurt when he hit him. Instead, he felt a kind of flirting and stimulation. In addition, there was a hand supporting the very perky and soft part behind Xie Qian. The touch was so wonderful, so soft and perky that Yi Chen almost couldn't suppress his Qilin kidney. Xie Qian was extremely embarrassed and annoyed, but she had nothing to say. She also felt a chill on her back. She never expected that Yi Chen was not joking. What Yi Chen said is true. She was suspected of having a bloody disaster, and she almost got into trouble the next moment. Should we say that Yi Chen has a strong ability to predict the future, or should we say that he has a blessed mouth? Yi Chen put Xie Qian on the sofa in the security department office and took off her black high heels. Xie Qian has a pair of small and beautiful delicate feet, but Yi Chen has no mood to appreciate them at this moment. Because her feet were so red and swollen, the flesh-colored stockings couldn't cover them. From this we can see that the twist is definitely not light. Yi Chen, please call an ambulance for me or send me to the hospital. I will take care of it there. I won't bother you. Xie Qian blushed. This was the first time that a man had observed and touched her feet so closely. Although Yi Chen did this just to check her condition, she was still so embarrassed that she wanted to cover her face. You know, in ancient times, feet were known as the third most private part of women. Yi Chen did not respond. At this moment, he was concentrating on reading the Yi Di Nei Jing in his mind. He remembered that Yi Di's Neijing recorded a lot of medical skills, especially emergency medical skills. Yes, it's the heaven and earth massage technique. This technique can effectively relieve any injuries to the human skeleton, including herniated discs, fractures, and spinal deformities. Just follow the specified massage technique for 15 minutes, and any problem will be solved. The Yi family's ancestor invented it himself. Yi Chen felt ashamed, thinking that it was a bit childish for the ancestor to come up with such a name. Yi Chen, what's wrong with you? Are you listening to me? Seeing that Yi Chen did not respond, Xie Qian pinched his face. Oh, no, I was just fascinated by your beautiful pair of jade feet. Yi Chen took the opportunity to praise Xie Qian to make Xie Qian feel better. Who would have thought that after hearing these words, Xie Qian was so embarrassed that she almost found a hole to crawl into? I was very happy to be praised, but the angle from which Yi Chen praised me was really a bit private and intimate. Xie Qian wanted to stretch her leg back, but Yi Chen grabbed it and said, no need to go to the hospital, I'll give you a massage and it will help you recover in 15 minutes. Even if you sprain your muscles, the hospital can't help. You will just have to stay in bed for 3 months. 3 months? It takes that long. Xie Qian was startled, and seeing that Yi Chen didn't seem to be talking nonsense, she could only blush and allow Yi Chen to massage her. She didn't want to lie in bed for several months, that would be so boring. Yi Chen didn't waste any time. He moved a chair and placed Xie Qian's 2 delicate feet on his legs. Xie Qian was wearing a grey OL uniform suit today, and a grey tight skirt. At this moment, her two slender legs were lying horizontally under her skirt, forming a bridge between the sofa and the chair where Yi Qian was sitting. She is 1.7 meters tall, which is quite tall for a woman, so her legs are very long and beautiful, with fleshy thighs and well-shaped calves. Overall, they are straight and slender, quite perfect. From where Yi Qian was, he only needed to glance to the side to perfectly see those two beautiful legs. Since I was not flipping through Yi Dine Jing in my mind like that, I was not distracted and I could not take my eyes away from this. Yi Qian has seen many models on Douyin, including special leg models, but Xie Qian's pair of proud legs is enough to beat all the models he has seen. You, stop looking. Oh, sorry, I got a little distracted. Next, Yi Qian began to massage Xie Qian while reading the Neijing Inner Canon of Medicine according to the techniques and steps mentioned above. During this process, I have to say that the pair of black stockings that Xie Qian was wearing felt really good and slippery. As I pinched them, Yi Qian became a little distracted. When one's mind is distracted, the Qilin kidney cannot be controlled and one part of it explodes. The angle was just right, and it was inevitable that it directly touched Xie Qian's feet. I can't help it. I can't control it. Yi Qian looked embarrassed. He quickly moved her jade feet down. 1,000 horses were galloping through his heart. Why did my damn Qilin kidney attack at this moment instead of earlier or later? Why didn't the ancestors give it a function like the X-ray eyes that can be turned on and off with the mind? How embarrassing is this? Yi Qian felt very embarrassed and secretly glanced at Xie Qian. Chapter 14 Newly Opened Bathing Club. Yi Qian, don't be affected by other things, just continue. Xie Qian's face was red and her voice was so soft that it was almost inaudible. She has no experience with men and women, but she is also an adult. Know what just happened? Subconsciously, I thought of the thing Qin Xie was holding in the bathroom of the villa last night. For a moment, I was filled with shame and anger, and didn't know what to do. Yi Qian suppressed the rising flame in his dantian and used the method described in the Neijing to help Xie Qian treat her fractured bones. The technique is very gentle and steady. At first, Xie Qian didn't feel anything. It was not much different from a normal massage. As time passed, Xie Qian was surprised to find that a cool and comfortable feeling spread from her feet to her whole body, and the original swelling and pain were relieved to a certain extent. Instead, there is a tingling and numb feeling, somewhat like an electric shock. Moreover, this refreshing feeling gradually intensified, causing Xie Qian to periodically and involuntarily utter very soft humming sounds. Their humming sound is very pleasant, and it makes the listeners feel excited and unable to control themselves. Somewhat contradictory adjectives such as pure and reserved, hot and charming can be used together to describe this voice. Yi Qian, you go faster, I feel so comfortable, I should be ready soon. After 13 minutes, Xie Qian couldn't help but urge Yi Qian to speed up. Yi Qian was now familiar with the technique, nodded, and started to speed up. For a moment, Xie Qian felt so happy that a thin layer of fragrant sweat appeared on her body. 15 minutes later, when Yi Qian finished the massage, Xie Qian was already sweating profusely, gasping for breath, and her pretty face was red. Yi Qian had suffered a lot. Xie Qian's expression, behavior, and the sound she made just now had repeatedly impacted his psychological defenses. At one point, he even wanted to execute Xie Qian on the spot. Fortunately, reason prevailed over anger and I did not do anything extreme. How is it? I see that your foot is no longer swollen. Are you feeling better? Yi Qian asked with a smile. Well, just leaving it like this, I don't feel any pain anymore. I'll go down and take a few steps to try. Xie Qian nodded embarrassedly, tucked the messy hair around her temples back behind her ears, then pulled her jade feet back from Yi Qian's hands and walked down the ground. After walking a few steps, he said in surprise, Yi Qian, where did you learn this massage technique? My foot really doesn't hurt at all, and I feel that the sprained tendon has also been reset, it's completely healed. I've heard that simple fractures are fine, but if you sprain your muscles, even if you go to the hospital, they don't have a particularly good way to treat it, and you'll be bedridden for 2 or 3 months. My distant cousin seems to have experienced this, and she felt worse than death during that time. You cured me with a simple massage, this is amazing. Xie Qian was amazed, and thought about how Yi Qian could tell at a glance that she was in danger of bloodshed. For a moment, she was a little doubtful. Could Yi Qian really be the martial arts master or hermit that Su Shaoyan mentioned? Originally, Xie Qian thought that what Su Xiaoyan said was a bit unreliable, but now she has to doubt whether it is true. Yi Qian chuckled, "This massage technique is inherited from my family. It can cure injuries, fractures and the like. If you bump into something in the future, just ask me to help you deal with it. You don't have to go to the hospital, which is time-consuming and expensive. By the way, I see that your forehead is no longer black, and the bad omen on your head is gone. You won't have any more bloody disasters. You can go to work without worry." "Okay, I'll go to work first. Wait for me to get off work in the evening and I'll treat you to a meal." Xie Qian breathed a sigh of relief. In fact, she had just wanted to ask whether she would encounter another bloody disaster. After getting this answer, she finally felt relieved. Fortunately, Yi Qian was here today, otherwise she would have to go to the hospital and might have lost her life. She opened the door of the security office and was about to leave when she suddenly discovered that there were many company security guards outside the door. Even Team Captain Xiong Baogua is among them. "What are you doing here? Isn't it working hours now?" Xie Qian asked puzzledly. "Oh, let's get something, Miss Xie, please." Xiong Baogua quickly waved his hand and asked the security guards to make way for Xie Qian to pass. Xie Qian didn't think much and went upstairs. After she left, Xiong Baogua rushed into the office, put his arm around Yi Qian's shoulders, and lit a cigarette for him. "Brother, you are awesome. How did you do it? Can you teach us?" Yi Qian was confused. "What do you want to do? What do you want to teach?" "Brother, please don't hide it from us. We all heard it. Just now you and Miss Xie were doing something. You've already won her over on your first day in the company. She's the most popular girl in the company, the most beautiful woman in the world. Many top executives and elites in the company have pursued her but failed to get her, not even a hair of hers. And yet you did it to her in the office on your first day at work. Teach us, how do you pick up girls?" Xiong Baogua asked loudly, and the other security guards all looked at him for advice. Yi Qian didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Did you misunderstand something? Xie Qian and I are just friends, not what you think. Brother, this is not very kind of you. We told you we heard it outside the door." Xiong Baogua was not talking nonsense. Just now, a security guard forgot to take his baton while on duty and planned to go back to the office to get it. "Just as I was about to open the door, I heard a pleasant female sound coming from inside. We are all adults, don't we know what this noise means?" He quickly told his brothers and Xiong Baogua about the matter. All the security guards came to eavesdrop. After the noise ended, Yi Qian and Xie Qian said something specific but I couldn't hear clearly. I only heard Xie Qian say something about speeding up, something amazing, something fierce. "Oh no, should the chest sign be gone? Damn, even that thing was broken." You can imagine what kind of earth-shattering battle had just taken place here. "Brother, just tell me the truth. Are you from Jianghai or a big family in the provincial capital? For someone like you who is personally taken care of by the HR manager and who won over Hanhai International's #1 goddess Xie Qian on the first day of employment, it's definitely unrealistic to say that you don't have an amazing identity." Xiong Baogua looked at Yi Qian deeply and was almost certain that this guy came from a big family and came to Hanhai International to work as a security guard. He was just looking for fun to kill time. Otherwise, where could Yi Qian get such great energy? Yi Qian was speechless. He had always been ridiculed for being from the countryside, but now he was suspected of coming from a wealthy family. "Captain Xiong, you must have misunderstood something. I don't come from a big family, and Xie Qian and I are just friends. It's completely different from what you think." Yi Qian tried to explain, but Xiong Baogua and the others had an expression that said, "Just go ahead and say it, we all understand." As everyone knows, rich young men never easily establish feelings and relationships with women, as they would lose too much by doing so. Most of the time, they just sleep with them and that's it. How could a rich young man give up the entire forest for a small tree? We say they are friends, but there are many kinds of friends, such as hot friends, which is one of them. Okay, let's not talk about that anymore. Brother Xiong, according to the rules of our security team, now that there are new people here, shouldn't we organize a team-building activity? A security guard next to him laughed with a lewd expression. As he spoke, he rubbed his hands, and his expression and behavior showed that he was quite expectant. Yi Qian knew at a glance that the team-building activities this kid was talking about were unhealthy. Xiong Baogua also gave a lewd smirk. "I almost forgot about this. I haven't arranged it for a long time. Now that I have the chance, I should arrange it. Master Yi, you must have slept with many goddesses like Tian. As the saying goes, if you eat too much, you will get rich. It is good for your health to taste some common delicacies occasionally. What do you think? It just so happens that a baiting club opened on the street next door a while ago. I heard that the girls there are all from other places. They all have good figures, pretty faces, and good skills. I guarantee you will have a blast if you go there. Chapter 15 The Insidious Li Dongge. Xiongbaogua said with a beaming expression. After a pause, he patted Yi Chen on the shoulder and said, after get off work tonight, gather at 6:30 and set off for the club. All the security guards were extremely excited and shouted, "Long live the Bears!" Obviously, they are looking forward to this event. As for the baiting club, there is no doubt that it provides some illegal pornographic services. Yi Chen's college classmates and members of the security team of Xingsha Media used to go there in groups, but he had a girlfriend and, since he had no money, he was not interested in that kind of place, so he never went with them. Although I am single now and my kidneys are hard to control, it is always right to keep myself clean. It's easy to get sick in that kind of place. Yi Chen was about to refuse. However, Xiongbaogua did not give him a chance to speak. After making the decision, he led the security guards back to their duties. Yi Chen smiled bitterly and shook his head. He could only wait until after get off work to talk about it. After sitting in the office for a while and feeling a little bored staring at the surveillance camera, Yi Chen stood up and planned to go outside on patrol and stretch his muscles at the same time. When he arrived at the company lobby, he found a security guard sending WeChat messages to someone on his cell phone. Yi Chen thought he was chatting with his girlfriend, but the next second when the security guard saw Yi Chen, his face changed and he subconsciously turned his phone to another direction, as if he didn't want Yi Chen to see his screen. This action is really weird. The flash of panic in his eyes was also noticed by Yi Chen. Something's wrong. Yi Chen narrowed his eyes, pretended not to care, walked away, and returned to the office. Immediately, he activated his X-ray vision with his mind and looked at the security guard's cell phone screen through the wall. After seeing it clearly, Yi Chen sneered. I saw the security guard chatting with a man named Manager Li through WeChat. The content is very simple. The security guard told Manager Li that Yi Chen would go to the Dahao Bath Club with the security guards at 6:30 in the evening to have fun. Har, I haven't even agreed yet, and you're already so impatient to spread the news. Moreover, you're selling out a large group of your colleagues just like that. Yi Chen couldn't help sneering. Fortunately, he discovered it early, and he didn't want to go to that club in the first place, otherwise he might have been cheated. You can never judge a person by his appearance. This security guard looks honest, but he is such a mean person behind the scenes. As for Manager Li, there is no need to think, it is most likely Li Dongge. Yi Chen continued to observe. Li Donghai replied to the security guard, good job, when they go to the bathing club, I will call the police and put them all in jail. Our company will not accept employees with bad records. They will be fired after their scandals are exposed. As a veteran of the security team, and with my recommendation, you will definitely be able to replace Xiongbaogua and become the security team leader. Also, I've already made arrangements. Tonight you're going to go with me to that private club on the outskirts of the city. Xiongbaogua and the others will be arrested, but if you stay with me, I'll make sure you have fun and stay safe. Har, thank you Manager Li for your support. I will definitely work hard for you in the future. The security guard had a sly grin on his face and looked excited, as if he saw a bright and prosperous road ahead of him. The most important thing is, that private club on the outskirts of the city is said to be an exclusive entertainment venue for the rich. There are many models and third-tier stars in it, each one is more beautiful than the other. I'm going to have a blast tonight. It seems that if I follow Manager Li, I will have a good life in the future. The security guard was very excited, thinking that his future was bright. What he didn't know was that Yi Chen saw all of this. Li Donghai, you want to trick me, right? Okay, you asked for trouble, so you can't blame anyone else. Yi Chen had a gloomy face. He already had a countermeasure in his heart, and at the same time he thought of Sun Zakai. Isn't he this guy very close to Li Dongge? Okay, then let Sun Zakai have a taste of what it feels like to be betrayed by his brothers. The other side. Business manager's office. Har, now we finally have the chance. Damn Yi Chen, he probably doesn't even know that he's about to face a disaster. Li Donghai laughed evilly. Zheng Jiuhui laughed so hard that her nose was about to bubble up. If Prog is arrested, Yi Qian will probably be on the headlines of tomorrow's Jianghai Evening News. Not only will he lose his job, but he will also lose face. All his relatives and friends will regard him as a joke and stay away from him. And with such a criminal record, he won't be able to find a job in the future. This is what happens when you dare to go against me, Li Dongge. Jiuhui, go notify the private club and ask them to prepare 2 rooms. This security guard is very loyal to me. I didn't even ask him any questions. He told me immediately if there was any situation, so that I could find an opportunity to take revenge on Yi Qian. I can't treat him unfairly. From now on, the security team will be my power. Li Dongge was in a good mood. He was cheated out of 5 million and beaten by Yi Qian. He was so angry that he was about to explode. Now, when he thought about Yi Qian being caught and he could still go out and have fun with the supermodel star at night, all the gloom in his heart disappeared. Zheng Jiuhui was a little dissatisfied, but didn't say anything. She contacted the private club as Li Donghai requested. On the surface, she is Li Dongge's wife, but in reality, Li Dongge thinks she is ugly after her skin aged, so he doesn't even go to bed with her and only goes to private clubs to play with other women. But she could only obey. After all, she still had to rely on Li Dongge to live. Li Dongge also thought that she was sensible and never made a fuss, so he didn't divorce her just because she was ugly. Also, after Yi Qian is arrested, remember to contact Lao Song and tell him the good news. Li Donghai said. Zheng Jiuhui took a deep breath and nodded, a sinister light flashing in her eyes. The 2 slaps Yi Qian gave her today humiliated her so much. Now she finally found an opportunity to make sure Yi Qian would never be able to turn over. There is only one word that can describe her current mood: awesome. In the evening, when it was almost time to get off work, Xie Qian came to find Yi Qian. She had made an appointment with Yi Qian, and Xie Qian wanted to treat Yi Qian to dinner as a token of gratitude. Xie Qian, you go first. Tell me when you get to the location. I'll go do something first and meet up with you later. Yi Qian said. Xiong Baogua and the security guards were smoking nearby, looking at each other, winking and grinning. They naturally knew what Yi Qian meant by doing things. Of course, they don't have time to expose the truth. After all, they also have to participate in this event. It's just a sigh that such a beautiful girl like Xie Qian was taken by Yi Qian, a security guard who had only been on the job for 1 day. Not only did she do that to her, but she also wanted to treat Yi Qian to a meal after get off work. Do I have to watch a movie after dinner? Do I have to take a rest after watching the movie? Now that we're taking a break together and the atmosphere is right, shouldn't we have some fun? If Yi Qian knew what Xiong Baogua and the others were thinking, he would definitely be so angry that he would bleed, saying that they were too bored and had been imagining things all day long. Okay, then I'll go to the restaurant first and send you the location later. Xie Qian didn't think much about it. She smiled and left with her small bag. Brother Xiong, you guys go today, I'll be on duty tonight. At this time a security guard said that Yi Qian knew him, and this guy was the one who tipped off Li Donghai. Yi Qian sneered in his heart, on duty. What kind of duty is that? I'm afraid that after I and others leave, he will meet up with Li Dongge and go to that private club. Okay, then you will be on duty today. In a few days, we will treat you to a meal as a reward. Xiong Baogua patted the security guard on the shoulder. The company has to have someone on duty 24 hours a day. So in the past, during team building activities, everyone drew lots to decide who would stay on duty, but this time someone volunteered, which saved us a lot of trouble. There are still 10 minutes before the official end of get off work. Everyone is waiting in the office. Yi Qian uses his mobile phone to contact Song Zikai at this time. He suppresses his nausea and sends him a text message. Manager Song, are you there? Is it convenient for you to come out and meet? I'll arrange a bathing club. There are some things I want to discuss with you. Chapter 16. The show is about to begin. Song Zikai had just finished committing adultery with Jiang Qianqian in the office. Afterwards, he smoked a cigarette and felt happier than a god. When I saw the text message, I laughed out loud. Look, that stupid dog Yi Qian comes to beg for mercy. Song Zikai had a playful look on his face and naturally thought that Yi Qian came to admit his mistake to him. Jiang Qianqian took a closer look and laughed out loud. Isn't it possible that after manager Li stopped him from joining Hanhai International, he knew about our power and became completely desperate, so he came here to beg for mercy? Of course, especially now that he has no money and no place to live, he can only sleep on the street. If he doesn't come to beg for mercy, he will freeze to death on the road. Song Zikai finished mocking and laughed. Bathhouse, I have to say this kid knows me well. Jiang Qianqian was a little unhappy, but she didn't say anything. She had known that Song Zikai was a playboy and always liked to go to places like clubs for excitement. She was very bothered by it, but Song Zikai had promised that he would only give his body when playing outside, not his true heart, and that his true heart only belonged to her. Besides, she was able to get promoted, get a raise, and buy all kinds of famous brands thanks to Song Zikai, so she didn't care much. What are you going to do? Jiang Qianqian asked. What else can I do? He has arranged everything. I will definitely go there. I'm telling you, I know without even thinking that when that kid sees me, he'll definitely kneel down in tears, begging me to forgive him, to acknowledge me as his foster father, and to say that he'll never go against me again. Besides, he will honestly let go and affirm my relationship with you. Song Zikai looked like he was in control of everything. Jiang Qianqian gloated, well, it's possible. After Yi Qian was beaten up by society, he has a high probability of becoming a weakling. It's nothing to have such a son of a bitch. At most I can just give him a bowl of rice to eat. When we are working in the office, I will let him stand guard outside, listening to us and watching us work. Song Zikai felt very excited just thinking about it. Jiang Qianqian thought of Yi Qian's murderous look of hatred when she broke up with him, and then thought of Yi Qian's current situation, and couldn't help but feel both amused and sad. Yi Qian was so crazy, and now, not only has he lost his job and girlfriend, but he also has to apologize to his enemies. In this society, the poor and the rich clash head on, and in the end the poor always suffer the consequences. I'll go over and pick up this bastard, you go home and wait for my news. Song Zikai straightened his clothes, sent Yi Qian a text message asking where to meet, and went out. I received a reply very quickly, cohabiting club. Song Zikai couldn't stop grinning. He heard that it was a newly opened club. The technicians inside were all dressed up and had superb skills. They were those who had studied at a top technical club in a coastal city. He had wanted to go before, but hadn't had the chance. Yi Qian is a thoughtful guy. I can have a good time today. The other side. Yi Qian and his group arrived outside the cohabiting club. Xiong Baogua and others wanted to go in, but Yi Qian stopped them. They couldn't help but feel confused and wanted to ask what was going on. Yi Qian did not respond, but asked them to wait outside for a while. He went into the club first and went to the front desk to book a suite. We've arranged the best girls, and we've got plenty of money. Yes, wait till he gets here before paying. His name is Song Zikai, and his cell phone number is. He'll be here in 15 minutes at most. After Yi Qian booked the room, he took a photo of the number plate, 888, and sent it to Song Zikai, with the following text, Manager Song, the place has been booked. When you arrive, just pick up the card and go upstairs. When you are done, we can talk about other things. Song Zikai was already impatient when he received the text message. As someone who has been hanging out in brothels for many years, he knows that 888 is usually the top number in the club. Little did people know that after doing all this, Yi Qian left the club directly. Let's go. I originally wanted to book a room, but for safety reasons, I asked my friend and he said there would be a large-scale anti-pornography operation today. Yi Qian told everyone. Xiong Baogua was shocked. Anti-pornography operation. How did you know about this, Master Yi? Do you have friends in the police force? Anyway, I got the news. Let's cancel the team building today. Otherwise, if we get caught, you know the consequences will be serious. Yi Qian didn't want to say more. He said hello to them and left. Looking at Yi Qian's back, Xiong Baogua's face changed. He had wanted to have a good time today, but he didn't expect such a change to happen. Boss, this is not right. He went in and came out, and then told us that there was an anti-pornography operation today. And the police force is supposed to be very confidential. Secret information like anti-pornography operations will never be leaked in advance. How could he get the information just by asking? One security guard said with a grim look on his face that he could no longer hold his gun and was planning to have a big fight, and if he was asked to go back now, he would never want to do that. Several other security guards who were in similar situations also doubted the truthfulness of Yi Qian's words. I'll go in and ask what happened. A security guard entered the club and asked the front desk what Yi Qian had just done. After getting the reply, he was furious. Fuck, Yi Qian is such a dishonest guy. The front desk said he booked suite 888, the top one. Fuck, if there is such a thing, then doesn't that mean he wants to do it secretly behind our backs? This kid must be a hypocrite, pretending to be noble. He wanted to play, but he didn't want us to know that he was playing, so he sent us away and went in to eat alone. Damn it, I told you, no matter how powerful his connections are, he can't possibly have any information about the police. That guy is just talking bullshit, nonsense. Come on, let's go in. The security guards cursed and criticized Yi Qian, thinking that Yi Qian was so hateful. The only person present was Xiong Baogua, who had a gloomy face and seemed to be thinking about making a decision. Captain, stop dawdling and hurry up. If we get late, the girls will all be on duty and we will have to wait. By then, we will be too late to catch a bath. The security guards pushed Xiong Baogua to enter the club. No, I have something urgent to do. If you want to play, you guys can go in. I'm going back first. Xiong Baogua broke free and ran away. Seeing him like this, the security guards frowned, thinking that the captain was too timid. It was obvious that Yi Qian was just talking nonsense, but he actually believed it. Wasn't he being fooled by Yi Qian? Forget it, let him run away. As long as we have fun today, that's all. The security guards walked into the club with their arms around each other, smiling obscenely. At the same time, Song Zikai also arrived and went to the front desk with a sly grin to get his hand card. But I was told to pay first, 698. Damn, when Yi Qian booked the suite, he didn't pay for me. Instead, he chose the book now pay later model. Didn't he invite me here just to beg for mercy? Song Zikai was a little annoyed. In the end, he had to pay for it himself. Although the consumption is not high and is a drop in the bucket for Song Zikai, it can show whether Yi Qian really wants to beg for mercy. Song Zikai called Yi Qian and wanted to ask him what was going on with this kid. In the end, none of them got through. I guess the guy was receiving service upstairs. Fuck, pay first. I'll ask that guy what happened after we're done. He has no tact. Now that he's here, Song Zikai can't leave. Besides, he has wanted to come to this club to play for a long time. So I paid and went upstairs. Yi Qian hid in the darkness of an alley not far away. Seeing Song Zikai go upstairs, he was very relieved and returned to the company with peace of mind. Seeing that the security guard on duty had disappeared, he thought it was almost time, so he called the police on the spot. Hello, officer, I want to report that there are erotic services in the private entertainment club on the outskirts of the city, super erotic ones, and many people are soliciting prostitution in it. After doing all this, Yi Qian returned to the alley outside the cohabiting club, waiting for the show to begin. At the same time, he started shooting videos with his mobile phone. He wanted to record this wonderful show. Everything is going according to Yi Qian's plan. At the same time, in a fast-moving car, Li Donghai in the back seat looked at the time. It was 6:40. A sinister smile flashed across his face. Is it about time? Well, at this time in the past, Xiong Baogua and the others would have gone upstairs to receive service. If we call the police now, when they arrive, I guess Yi Qian and the others will be working hard. The security guard who was supposed to stay on duty said with a smirk beside Li Donghai. Okay, we must kill Yi Qian this time. Li Donghai couldn't stop laughing, and dialed the police number on his mobile phone. Hello, police team. I, Li Donghai, report the cohabiting club in Dongcheng district as a pornographic venue. There are many people receiving pornographic services in it. Go and arrest them. Chapter 17, Counterattack. Song Zikai was arrested in Pyeongchang. Oh my god, I have to say, the service quality of your club is really first rate, har har. It's so good. Come on, girl, move faster, I'm almost done. Cohabiting club. Suite 888. Song Zikai laughed obscenely, his big hands lingering on the woman's body. He had heard that a certain city on the southeast coast had a particularly wide variety of related services, which were particularly thorough. It was true when I saw it today. The technician has indeed gone for further training. His skills are really good. It's so cool. The key technician is also very beautiful and has a great figure, even better than Jiang Qianxian. Song Zikai even wanted to keep the girl and use the company car for personal purposes. If you bring a woman like this who has 360 martial arts skills back to your home, wouldn't you be having fun every night and have so much fun that even your own mother wouldn't recognize you, right? The woman didn't say anything, but gave Song Zakai a seductive look, licked her tongue, and worked harder. Song Zakai was fascinated to death and approached the peak step by step. At the critical moment, the public phone in the suite rang. The female technician got out of bed to answer it. Song Zakai was a little unhappy. Usually, when this kind of phone rings, it means the service time is up, reminding the technician to let the customer stay for extra time or something. But it's only 10 minutes now, and the time is obviously not up. Isn't this nonsense? Disturb the fun. What? Surprise inspection. The female technician suddenly screamed, threw the phone away, and put on her coat and pants with a look of horror. Song Zakai was startled. What's going on? Who's going to check it out? The front desk called and said the police are here to crack down on prostitution. The female technician put on her clothes in a panic, opened the window and tried to find a place to climb over the wall to escape. Song Zakai's face turned pale. What the hell? We were having fun, why did the police suddenly come? No time to think, just put on your clothes quickly. But just as he put on his underwear, the door was violently kicked open. Then a female voice shouted loudly. Police, crack down on prostitution. Put your hands up, everyone. Qin Xia rushed in and stuffed the muzzle of her pistol directly into Song Zakai's mouth. Oh my god. Song Zakai had never seen such a scene before. He was so frightened that he fainted somewhere on the spot and had a serious trauma in his heart. I'm afraid it will be difficult to stand up again in the future. The female technician didn't run away either, she was caught. Immediately afterwards, all the technicians and staff of the club were taken under control. Put on handcuffs and put him in the police car. Among them, more than 10 people cried uncontrollably, their faces full of regret and remorse. These people are exactly the security guards of Hanhai International. They were having a great time when the police suddenly came to crack down on prostitution. What's going on? The police are really here. Master Yi is not talking nonsense. He is not making it up. Why didn't we listen to Master Yi and go back? Instead, we insisted on coming to the club. Are we stupid? We are idiots, we are big idiots. The security guards regretted their actions so much that they burst into tears. If they are caught soliciting prostitution and have a criminal record, once the matter is exposed, Hanhai International will fire them without hesitation, and they will have difficulty finding a job afterwards, and they will regret it for the rest of their lives. As angry as they were when they accused Yi Chen of talking nonsense and wanting to have the most food for himself, they regret it now. Especially when they saw that Yi Chen was not among those arrested, they felt even more regretful. Although I don't know why Yi Chen booked Suite 888, he didn't accept the service at all. I laughed at Xiong Baogua for being a coward and believing Yi Chen's lies. Now it seems that Xiong Baogua is the only smart one. Song Zakai was also trying to find Yi Chen among the group of arrested prostitutes. Song Zakai thought that Yi Chen was just as happy in there as he was, so they must have been arrested together, and he felt somewhat comforted. Unexpectedly, Yi Chen was not there at all. Where is Yi Chen? Why did he ask me to come over? Song Zakai thought about it and a terrifying possibility emerged in his mind. When he saw Yi Chen appearing from the alley and standing outside the alley with a sneer on his face, Song Zakai confirmed his guess. Damn, this is a trap set by Yi Chen. Song Zakai's eyes were bloodshot, and he was burning with anger. Yi Chen, fuck me. Yi Chen? Hearing the noise, everyone turned around and looked at Yi Chen. It's really him. At this time, Yi Chen finished filming. He had already captured the scene of Song Zakai being arrested, which was enough. Walking up to Song Zakai, Yi Chen sneered and said, Song Zakai, what are you doing cursing in the street? It's not me who reported this place. You're still trying to quibble. If it wasn't you who reported it, then who did? Song Zakai stomped his feet angrily. He thought that Yi Chen's text message was a plea for mercy, but who knew it was a trick to trick him? If you are caught soliciting prostitution, although you can be released on bail if you plead guilty sincerely, you will definitely be disgraced when you are released and become a laughingstock in the entire Jianghai city. Song Zakai was furious. Yi Chen wanted to commit social death. Hey, don't talk nonsense, Song Zakai. I just sent you the location of the club and the number of the suite so that you can relax in the club. How could I know that you would order a lady to sleep with you during your rest time and commit prostitution? Yi Chen sneered, you are not clean yourself, so you can't blame others. And I don't lie. I didn't report you. You should thank your good brother Li Donghai for your arrest. How do you know the name of the informant? Qin Xia asked Yi Chen with raised eyebrows. I just happened to know it. Yi Chen said casually and glanced at Qin Xia. He didn't expect that it was such a coincidence that she was the one who was dispatched here to crack down on prostitution. When Yi Chen thought of the now cool and serious Qin Xia, who had been using all kinds of adult products upstairs until midnight last night, his expression became strange and he didn't know how to describe it. Song Zikai was about to vomit blood. He thought Yi Chen was talking nonsense. But from Qin Xia, we learned that it seemed that it was really the Dahao Club that was reported by his good brother Li Donghai. What the hell is this? Why did Li Donghae do this? Do you know this client? What's the relationship? Qin Xia frowned even more tightly, took out her notebook and continued to question Yi Chen. Enemy relationship. All right, Officer Qin, I won't say anything else. Please bring this scumbag to justice as soon as possible. It would be best to lock him up for 10 days or half a month and give him a good beating, so that he won't go around soliciting prostitutes, being arrogant and domineering, and endangering the public order and morality of society in the future. Yi Chen spoke righteously, pointing at Song Zikai and almost saying that Song Zikai was an unforgivable criminal. Of course, Song Zikai also meets the standards. Fuck. Yi Chen, you little bastard, do you want me dead? Officer, I'm reporting this. This guy helped me open the room. He is also guilty and is an accomplice. Song Zikai cursed loudly, trying to drag Yi Chen into the water. Is this true? Qin Xia narrowed her beautiful eyes, stared at Yi Chen, and asked coldly. Yi Chen shrugged. I helped him get a room, but he paid for it himself. I didn't know he would find a lady later. This has nothing to do with me. Qin Xia didn't believe what Yi Chen said, especially since Yi Chen arranged Song Zikai here and booked a room. How could he not know what services were provided here? But the main evidence for the conviction of prostitution is who the investor is. The money was paid by Song Zikai himself, so it has nothing to do with Yi Chen. If there's nothing else, you can leave. Don't interfere with official business here. Qin Xia waved her hand and sent Yi Chen away. I just came to comfort him. Now that I'm done, I'm leaving. Yi Chen shrugged, turned around and left. At this time, Song Zikai had an expression of anger and despair. His hands were handcuffed behind his back and his arms were suppressed by the police. He was leaning forward 30 degrees towards the ground and looked extremely embarrassed. Yi Chen, just wait for me, I won't let you go. When Song Zikai was taken into the car, he roared at Yi Chen in frustration. Don't worry, I won't let you go. Our business is not over yet. Yi Chen turned around and left this sentence with a sneer on his face. This is just the beginning, not the end. Song Zikai will definitely pay a heavy price for his previous actions. Chapter 18. A place like a wine pond and a forest of meat. Next, the security guards of Hanhai International were also taken into police cars one by one. They looked so ashamed that they were too embarrassed to even look at Yi Chen's back. Yi Chen warned them and was a great benefactor to them, but they slandered his benefactor and did not believe Yi Chen. This is why we have ended up like this. It's just asking for trouble. If it was Yi Chen who called the police, they could still curse Yi Chen for betraying his colleagues, but the reporter was not Yi Chen, and Yi Chen really had good intentions in reminding them. Yi Chen also sighed and shook his head helplessly. If the security guards had listened to the advice and not let the little boss control the big boss, things would not have turned out like this. All I can say is that it's hard to persuade that damn ghost with kind words. As I was sighing, the cell phone rang. I saw it was a text message from Shi Qian. Yi Chen, we found a restaurant, the Blue Rose Restaurant. Just navigate here and the food will be served soon. I'll be there now. After replying the message, Yi Chen scanned a shared bicycle and set off to meet Shi Qian. At the same time, in the suburbs of Jianghai City, the same thing happened in a villa as in the Dahao Bathing Club. That's right, this villa is the so-called private club. After receiving Yi Chen's report, the police force immediately came to raid the pornography site. Li Donghai and the security guard Erguzi who tipped off the police were caught red-handed while they were working. They were all taken into the police car. On their way, Li Donghae wanted to spend money to bribe the police officers to let him leave secretly, but not only did he fail, he was also scolded and accused of wanting to corrupt official personnel and undermine social morals, and he should be severely punished. I'm afraid there will be no chance of bail. I will have to be detained for at least 3 days. Li Donghai wanted to die. Damn it, shouldn't he come out and laugh at Yi Chen after Yi Chen was caught? How come in the end, I was caught by the anti-pornography squad? When the two were taken to the police station, they happened to meet the prostitutes and their clients who were arrested in the Dahao Bath Club. Li Donghae was originally extremely desperate, but when he saw these people, he suddenly felt comforted. Yi Chen was arrested together with himself, so that guy was really unlucky. At least it's not a loss. Li Donghae thought so and looked around, looking for Yi Chen in the crowd. In the end, Yi Chen didn't see it, but saw Song Zikai instead, and was immediately shocked. "Old Song? Why are you here?" Song Zikai wanted to curse and even wanted to kill Li Donghae. "I was thinking, how come you don't know what's going on here? It was you who reported me." At this time, the security guards were also shocked when they saw the Urguzi security guard. Wasn't he on duty? How come he was arrested for soliciting prostitution? Security guard Urgu was quite embarrassed. He lowered his head and couldn't say a word. He felt so miserable that he had no tears left. He thought he could have a bright future this time, but ended up in a dead end. When he was released, he would definitely be fired by the company along with other security guards. "You have ruined your job, have a bad record, can't find a job, and will have trouble moving around in the city. No one allows you to communicate, just shut up." Qin Xia shouted. She could see that many of these prostitutes knew each other. It is true that birds of a feather flock together. Qin Xia hates people who solicit prostitution the most, they are so dirty. No one dared to speak in private anymore, not even a whisper. Li Donghae became anxious at this time. He looked left and right in the crowd but didn't see Yi Chen at all. "What is going on?" I couldn't help but ask the police officer in charge of the case whether there was a person named Yi Chen among those arrested. After getting a denial and seeing a banner prepared by the policeman nearby, saying that it was for Yi Chen, a citizen of Leifeng who had made outstanding contributions to Shanghai's anti-pornography campaign, Li Donghae vomited blood on the spot, his eyes turned black, and he almost fainted on the spot. How could he not know which Yi Chen this Yi Chen was talking about? It is most likely Yi Chen, the security guard of Shanghai International. The private club was reported by Yi Chen. "Oh my god, what on earth is going on? I made such careful arrangements, which should have ruined Yi Chen's reputation and made him infamous forever, but why did Yi Chen turn the tables on me in the end and I ended up shooting myself in the foot? How did Yi Chen know that I went to a private club and called the police to arrest me? This is not scientific." On the other side, the Blue Rose restaurant. "Yi Chen, why are you so late? What were you busy with? I've been waiting for you for a long time." Xia Chen complained unhappily. She waited for a long time and the food was cold before Yi Chen came. Sorry, something came up. I won't do this next time." Yi Chen scratched his head. The main reason was that he had no money and couldn't afford a taxi. Otherwise, he wouldn't ride a shared bike. After all, bikes are very slow and he wasted a lot of time on the road. "You've spent a lot of money today." Yi Chen chuckled as he looked around the dishes on the table. There were Beijing roast duck, steamed crabs, stir-fried beef and a vegetarian dish on the table. 3 meat dishes and 1 vegetable dish would cost at least 200 yuan. Yi Chen was not polite at all. He took the chopsticks and started showing off, eating in a very ungraceful manner. Xia Chen found it funny and smiled. "Yi Chen, you look like you haven't eaten for several days. Eat slowly and don't choke. If it's not enough, I'll bring more later." In order to save money, she usually eats in the company's affordable cafeteria. Today I made an exception and went back to the restaurant to thank Yi Chen, so I won't be stingy with anything. I haven't eaten such delicious food for a long time. Yi Chen was telling the truth. In the past, he left his money to Jiang Qianqian and lived on steamed buns. His purpose was to save enough money for the down payment as soon as possible, buy a house in the city, and marry Jiang Qianqian. In the end, all my sincerity was wasted. But it doesn't matter, I have a new life now and the future is promising. By the way, Miss Xia, how much is the monthly rent for our shared villa? Yi Chen planned to ask clearly. Once he started receiving his salary, he would still have to pay the rent. Rent. Xia Chen stuck out her tongue a little embarrassedly. Actually, I don't know how much the rent is. I'm a senior in Shaoyan School, and I'm also the president of the anime club. Shaoyan was a freshman at that time, and I got to know her through her joining the club. We became familiar with each other and had a very good relationship. When I graduated, she knew I was looking for a job and renting an apartment, so she arranged for me to work at Shanghai International and live in a villa. Qin Xia and Qi Yulong also met Su Shaoyan by chance and were invited by Su Shaoyan to live in the villa. This villa was bought by Su Shaoyan's father and given to her. She said it was for sharing, but in fact we lived there for a long time and she didn't charge us a penny in rent. Otherwise, with my financial situation, I can't afford to live in such a nice house. While eating, Xia Qian introduced the villa to Yi Qian. In the middle of the meal, he subconsciously picked up a piece of beef and put it in Yi Qian's bowl. This kind of behavior is so intimate that it only happens between lovers. This caused Yi Qian to be stunned for a moment. Xia Qian's face suddenly turned red with shame, and she said quickly, "I'm sorry, I have a younger brother. Before I went to college, when I was eating at home, I always picked up food for him while chatting with him. I did this subconsciously." "Oh, it's okay." Yi Qian smiled and didn't care. He was just curious. Why did Su Shaoyan do this? She said she was sharing the villa, but actually didn't charge rent. "I'm not sure, I can only ask her again when I have the chance." Yi Qian was thinking about something, and at the same time noticed that after Xia Qian talked about her brother, a hint of sadness and heartache flashed across the depths of her beautiful eyes. "Is your brother a little disobedient, or has some other problems?" Yi Qian blinked and asked tentatively. "Well, let's not talk about his business. It makes me upset." Xia Qian sighed and turned to ask Yi Qian, "I can tell from Jing Zhiwei's attitude towards you that something happened to you in the past. It's more than just a simple matter. It's all tears. My sincerity has gone to waste." Yi Qian smiled bitterly and didn't elaborate. Xia Qian just sighed. Every family has its own problems. The atmosphere during the meal was not so good afterwards, as the mood of both of them was affected by the topic just now. After finishing the meal, Yi Qian originally planned to go back to the villa to rest. Xia Qian paused for a moment and suddenly said, "Do you want to go to Sister Yulong's place to play for a while? When you are in a bad mood, it is suitable to go to her place to relax. What does she do over there?" Yi Qian became curious, and the image of Qi Yulong emerged in his mind, the girl with an extremely hot body, extremely hot clothes, and a carefree temper. "You'll know when we get there." Xia Qian smiled mysteriously and pulled Yi Qian into a taxi. Half an hour later, the two entered a bar filled with hormones amidst the deafening sound of a DJ. In the bar's dance floor, the dazzling lights kept changing, men and women were hugging each other, some were whispering in each other's ears, and some were letting themselves go and swaying their bodies to the DJ's music. But the most eye-catching thing was the couples who openly French kissed in front of everyone, which caused a round of cheers and applause. This was the first time that Yi Qian came to such a place. It was not an exaggeration to describe this place as a place of wine and meat. Chapter 19 Black Dragon Gang. Let's go up first. The noise around them was so loud that Xia Qian could only speak close to Yi Qian's ear so that Yi Qian could hear clearly. The two of them went all the way to the second floor and were led by the waiter to sit at a table on the corridor on the second floor. "Look, Yulong is there." Xia Qian pointed downstairs. Yi Qian looked in the direction she pointed and was a little surprised. "I saw the girl in a black belly-bearing vest and super short shorts twisting her body wildly on the DJ stage, operating the machine in front of her, creating bursts of metal rock sounds. The atmosphere of the whole venue was created by her alone. Is she the exclusive DJ here?" Yi Qian asked curiously. "It's not exclusive. Sister Yulong has other work during the day, so she only comes here to work part-time for about 3 hours after get off work." "How is it? The atmosphere here is pretty good, right? Is it high?" Xia Qian was somewhat infected by the joyful atmosphere here and asked Yi Qian with a smile. "It's quite exciting." Yi Qian smiled. In fact, he didn't like this noisy atmosphere very much. But to be honest, when you are in a bad mood, it is not a bad idea to come here to relax. At this time, Xia Qian planned to order 2 cocktails. She rarely came to such places and never drank alcohol. "When I talk about my younger brother, I remember some very annoying things. My mood is getting bad and I want to drink to relieve my sorrow." Unexpectedly, before they could call their waiter, a sudden roar exploded in everyone's ears. "Qi Yulong, you cousin, you don't want to drink when I toast you, right? Your father owes me so much money, do you think you can get away with it by pretending to be deaf and dumb? I'm telling you, the final repayment deadline has passed, and this matter must be resolved today." The roar was too loud. What followed was a series of scoldings. "Everyone stop and get out of the way. Brother who is here to question you." Fuck you, you're still kissing me, didn't you see Brother Tiger is here? If you continue to act horny in public, I'll kill you, believe it or not. Get lost. A fat and strong man wearing a big gold chain, a floral shirt, flip-flops, with a sinister face, surrounded by 7 or 8 skinny younger brothers, forced his way into the dance floor and came under the DJ stand. Seeing these people, the men and women who had been dancing wildly in the dance floor all stepped back in fear. Obviously, they all knew the person coming. The DJ music stopped and the joyful and dynamic atmosphere of the bar was gone in an instant. Instead, there was a murderous atmosphere. Brother Who, what brings you here? The bar manager rushed over and tried to ease the situation with a flattering smile. Bang! Chen Hu's slap, which was full of calluses, hit the bar manager directly on the face, causing the manager to scream in pain and see stars. Damn it, how can you be a manager? You don't even know that your subordinate's father owes me money. Chen Hu cursed loudly, his saliva splashing on the foreman's face. The foreman was terrified. Is there such a thing? How much do you owe? 100,000, plus interest, that's 500,000 at most. Wow, so much. The foreman looked at Qilin immediately. Qilin, you dare to owe Brother Who a debt and not pay it back, are you crazy and want to die? Qilin glared at him, my dad owes it, not me. It has nothing to do with me. If you want to pay the debt, go find my dad. Why are you looking for me? Get out of here right now and don't make trouble at my workplace. The foreman's face turned pale, and he thought, Auntie, don't you know Brother Who? Brother Who has come here in person, and you still dare to talk like this, are you looking for death? Brother Who, this crazy woman is not our formal employee. She just works here part-time. If you want to pay back the debt, just go to her. This matter has nothing to do with our bar. The foreman hurriedly cut ties with Qilin, fearing that he would be implicated. As he spoke, he took out a wad of bills and carefully put them into Chen Hu's shirt pocket. Seeing that the foreman was sensible, Chen Hu did not embarrass him. Instead, he said with a serious face, Qilin, your father disappeared after borrowing money from us. If we don't look for you as his daughter, who else can we look for? Besides, your father borrowed the money in your name, so we will definitely ask you to pay it back. Don't affect the business here, come with us and talk things out. Chen Hu waved his hand and several of his younger brothers immediately came forward. Without thinking twice, he forcibly grabbed Qilin and took her outside. On the second floor of the bar, Yi Chen frowned slightly. What's going on? Yi Chen, that person seems to be Chen Hu from the Black Dragon Gang. Sister Yulong complained to me a while ago, saying that people from the Black Dragon Gang were harassing her, and it was useless even if she called the police. Those people didn't commit any crimes, and the police were just warning them. And they are a bunch of weaklings. Warnings are useless. They will continue to harass us. Now they are actually coming offline to cause trouble. Xie Qian was a little panicked. Should we call the police? It's useless. It's probably too late to call the police now. Let's go out and check the situation. Yi Chen said with a serious face, and left the bar with Xie Qian. Also leaving the bar were the men and women who had just been frightened. Obviously, they all knew Chen Hu. With Chen Hu outside, they didn't dare to act recklessly inside. After all, if they were not careful and made Chen Hu unhappy, the consequences would be unimaginable. No one in Jianghai doesn't know about the Black Dragon Gang. The Black Dragon Gang is a powerful local gang with more than 200 members, all of whom are extremely brutal criminals. Not only do they collect protection fees from bars and nightclubs, they also often organize fights and other illegal and criminal activities. Chen Hu is the person in charge of the Black Dragon Gang in this area. He has more than a dozen men under him. He often extorts pensions from the elderly, abducts women, and lends money at high interest rates. It is said that he has killed someone himself. He is quite cruel. Anyone who offends him will either have his hands or feet cut off. Yi Chen had also heard of this guy's name. As he walked out of the bar, he used his mind to open his eyes of perspective and looked at Chen Hu, who was blocking Qilin across the street. Chen Hu and his 7 or 8 younger brothers all had electric batons and machetes on their waists under their clothes. In this situation, even though Yi Chen's body was greatly strengthened by the Qilin Kidney, his speed and strength soared, enough for him to fight 1 against 8 and knock down these evil elements, but it was not suitable to rescue Qilin by physical means. Because if the criminals were to kill Qilin in desperation, they would be doomed. Yi Chen's brain was working frantically as he thought about countermeasures, and soon an idea came to his mind. He pulled Xie Tian aside and whispered something to her. When Xie Tian listened, her eyes lit up and she nodded repeatedly. Chapter 20. If you don't have money, you'll pay with your life. You are going too far. You have seriously affected my life and work. I say it again, I have nothing to do with Qi Dianio. He divorced my mother when I was 3 years old, and we have no contact with him since then. If you want to borrow the money from him, just go to him. It has nothing to do with me. After Qi Yulong was carried outside, he said angrily. Har, don't talk too much. We have no business talking about it. Besides, how can we know whether what you said is true or not? Qi Daniao's grandson disappeared after borrowing the money. God knows if he is dead. Is it possible that if he dies and there is no evidence, our debt will disappear out of thin air? We can't afford this loss. Chen Hu stared. Hurry up, take out 500,000. Qi Yulong was furious. She had no idea that Qi Dianio would borrow money from Chen Hu in her name, and she had never agreed to Qi Dianio doing so. She was heartbroken and the only memory she had of Qi Dianio was domestic violence. When Qi Dianio was a child, he often abused her and her mother, and he despised her mother for not being able to give birth to a son. He is also lazy and has a bad temper. He doesn't go to work. He gambles, drinks and beats his wife every day. He is even worse than Jinfu. He refuses to agree when his mother asks for a divorce. The family depends entirely on his mother's work as a seamstress to support it. Whenever her mother earned less money and it was not enough for drinking and gambling, she would be beaten. This was an extremely dark memory in Qi Yulong's heart. Until one time, when Qi Dianio was gambling, he had an argument with his poker friend and stabbed him to death in anger. He was arrested and put in jail. Only then were they, mother and daughter, freed and able to live a peaceful life. Some time ago, Qi Dianio was released from prison after labor reform. He called Qi Yulong many times and asked him to meet with him, saying that he had reformed. Qi Yulong was very annoyed but had no choice but to meet with him. As a result, Qi Dianio asked her for money as soon as they met. When she refused to give it, he threatened to beat her. Seeing that Qi Dianio was a stubborn person, she blocked Qi Dianio and cut off all ties with him. Unexpectedly, Qi Dianio couldn't get the money, so he turned around and asked the Black Dragon gang to borrow money in her name. This is to torture her to death. I don't have any money, but I have my life. Qi Yulong said resolutely, feeling heartbroken and desperate. Her mother fell seriously ill a few years ago, and the family's already meager savings had long been used up. She is still living in the hospital and has to receive intravenous strips and take medicine every day. It's a bottomless pit. She has no savings and can't take out any money at all. Moreover, Qi Dianio borrowed 100,000 yuan, and Chen Hu asked her to pay back 500,000 yuan. This is simply too dark. Har, do you think we won't dare to touch you just because you said that? Chen Hu sneered, we have already found out where you work. You are amazing. You DJ in a bar at night and work as a teacher in an orphanage during the day. Qi Yulong's pretty face turned cold. What do you mean? It doesn't matter, Qi Yulong. I won't take your life, because if you die, no one will pay me back. But, no one in Jianghai can owe me, Chen Hu, money and not pay it back. If you don't pay me back, I don't mind sitting in front of the welfare home every day. Or, I can sit outside the hospital where your mother lives. Just wait and see if they will fire you and kick your mother out of the hospital because they are afraid of us. Chen Hu said viciously that he had already investigated Qi Yulong thoroughly. Qi Yulong's face looked grim. If this was true, she would definitely lose her job, and her mother would not be able to stay in the hospital and receive treatment. Of course, we don't want to make a big deal out of this. It's not good for you or us. Chen Hu suddenly changed the subject. Qi Yulong asked quickly, what do you want me to do in order to let me go and find Qi Dianio himself? We can't find Qi Dianio himself, otherwise we wouldn't come looking for you. You have to solve this problem. It doesn't matter if you can't come up with 500,000 right away. I understand. As Chen Hu spoke, his obscene eyes swept over Qi Yulong's hot and graceful body. He couldn't help but licking his tongue. His expression was very obscene, which made Qi Yulong look disgusted and subconsciously took 2 steps back. I've noticed that you're pretty, so I'll make an exception this time. As long as you agree to be my lover and sleep with me for a few nights, I can make an exception and give you a year or 2, so that you have time to collect the money to pay back the loan. Look at your big breasts and round buttocks, it will be so much fun to play with you, har har. Chen Hu grinned evilly. He had this plan when he first saw Qilin. He wanted to turn this woman into his plaything. His younger brothers laughed like pigs. Brother Tiger, don't forget to give your brothers some soup when you eat meat. Don't worry, when I get tired of playing and having enough fun, I'll let you guys have some fun too. Chen Hu said generously, winking at Qilin. After all, my terms are already very favorable. Roll. There was no way Qilin would agree to such a request. He refused on the spot with his eyes wide open. Chen Hu's lewd smile froze. If you don't accept my toast, you'll have to drink the wine for punishment. I'm telling you, you don't have the right to refuse today. Either you get in my car voluntarily and go to a hotel with me, or I'll force you into the car and rape you. As soon as he finished speaking, 7 younger brothers immediately stepped forward and surrounded Qilin, all of them rubbing their hands together, with lustful looks in their eyes, as if they couldn't wait to kill Qilin right there. You'll have 3 seconds to choose. 3, 2, 1. Chen Hu was counting hypocritically, preparing to take Qilin down by force, when a sinister shout suddenly sounded behind him. Qilin, do you think that hiding here will help you and that you can owe money without paying it back? Damn it, we gave you face but you didn't want it, and we gave you a chance but you didn't seize it. Our patience has run out. I'm leaving this message to you today. Pay back the money or die. I saw a man and a woman, both wearing suits and sunglasses, walking towards this side with sullen faces. The man's voice was gloomy and full of murderous intent. The woman is heroic and has a cool temperament. Hearing the noise, Chen Hu turned around and couldn't help but frown and asked, "Damn, who are you?" Bang! Yi Chen slapped Chen Hu directly on the face. Chen Hu was caught off guard and fell to the ground with a scream, blood oozing from the corner of his mouth. You have the money but instead of paying it back, you spend money to hire a group of people to protect you. Yi Chen looked up at Qilin and gave her a look with a mocking expression. Qilin was confused at first. She recognized Yi Chen and Xie Chen at a glance and didn't understand why they came here dressed like agents. It was not until Yi Chen hinted at her that she knew why Yi Chen came. I have no money. Every grievance has its perpetrator and every debt has its creditor. You can go find Qi Da Neo. Qilin said fearfully with his neck shrunk, cooperating with Yi Chen in acting. No money. If you don't have money, you'll pay with your life. These are your men, right? Let's start with them. Without saying a word, Yi Chen grabbed the hair of one of Chen Hu's brothers and pulled him in front of him. He immediately pulled out a dagger and put it against the brother's neck. The younger brother was so scared that he peed himself on the spot. Brother, you are wrong, I am not this woman's subordinate. Har har, not your men. If they are not your men, why are you gathered here to protect her? I can tell at a glance that she knew we were coming, so she asked you to come and fight me. How dare you lie to me? You are really looking for shit in a toilet. Yi Chen slapped the younger brother again, causing him to fall to the ground and wail. With another fierce kick, the younger brother flew backwards and hit the tree, vomiting blood. This brutal scene made Chen Hu's eyelids twitch, and all the anger and humiliation he had just felt disappeared. I realized immediately that the visitor was not friendly. The key point is that Chen Hu used his vicious eyes to see that there seemed to be metal reflection under Yi Chen's shirt at the back of his waist. Like a pistol. Chen Hu shuddered. The man and woman in front of me must be of extraordinary status. Chapter 21, My name is Song Zakai. This. Big brother, please calm down first. Is there any misunderstanding? What are you doing here? Chen Hu lost his previous arrogance, swallowed his saliva, and asked Yi Chen. Yi Chen glared, with a gangster attitude, what else can I do? I'm here to collect debts. Tell your master, if you don't pay me back today, you will all die here. As he said that, he threw a punch, hitting the younger brother who was supporting Chen Hu right in the abdomen. The little brother was beaten so hard that his body curled up, he spat out large mouthfuls of blood, his eyeballs popped out of his sockets, and he screamed in agony, just like a dying frog. Qilin, your father borrowed money in your name and ran away. 100,000, 1 million including principal and interest. Give me the money, otherwise we will start with them, and all of you will die here. Yi Chen pointed at Chen Hu. Chen Hu's scalp numbed and he finally understood the whole story. He wondered if he was implicated by Qilin. These two people also came to ask Qilin for debt. Because he and his companions surrounded Qilin, they were mistakenly thought to be there to protect Qilin. By the way, where did these two guys come from? They are so domineering and have such an aura. Moreover, they borrowed 100,000 yuan and asked Qilin to pay back 1 million yuan including principal and interest. Damn, they are even more evil-hearted than the Black Dragon Gang and affect the image of the industry. Not only that, they also want to kill me and others at any time. Damn, the opponents are no longer just the Black Society, they are simply terrorists. Brother, we are really not Qilin's bodyguards. We are here to borrow money from Qilin just like you. Chen Hu waved his hands and explained earnestly, glaring at Qilin, help us explain it clearly quickly, don't implicate us. Qilin remained silent. It was not until Chen Hu's eyes became more and more ferocious that she nodded, indicating that this was correct. Yi Chen raised his hand and slapped Chen Hu in the face again, leaving a bloody slap mark. Want to cheat me together? Damn it, big brother, how dare I lie to you? Chen Hu wanted to cry but had no tears. This big brother was too unreasonable. He should at least ask clearly before beating him. Then prove that you are here to collect a debt from her. Don't waste my time. I'm in a hurry. I need to collect the debt quickly and report back. Look. Chen Hu hurriedly took out the IOU written by Qi Daniao and handed it to Yi Chen with both hands. Yi Chen took a look and said in surprise, I didn't expect that he was a fellow traveler who came to collect debts. Yes, we are not her bodyguards, she can't afford us at all. Chen Hu said with a sad face. Finally, he explained it clearly. As a result, Yi Chen slapped him again, and Chen Hu wailed, why didn't you say so earlier? You wasted so much of my time. Don't you want to live anymore? Chen Hu was cursing in his heart, thinking, I want to say something, but did you give me a chance to speak? However, he didn't dare to talk back, so he could only smile awkwardly and apologize to Yi Chen, saying that he was wrong. Now anyone can see that this murderer who is so domineering and powerful, who wants to kill everyone all the time, is definitely not from an ordinary force. Okay, since you are not her bodyguards, you can go away and don't interfere with our debt collection. Yi Chen said coldly. Yes, yes. No, brother, we also want to collect debts. Chen Hu's face looked like a bitter gourd. You mean, your debt collection priority is higher than ours? Yi Chen glared at Chen Hu and put his hands directly on his waist. Chen Hu immediately waved his hands to admit his mistake and didn't dare to say anything. Otherwise, who could he go to for justice if he was executed? Chen Hu gritted his teeth and looked at Qilin angrily. He had no choice but to accept defeat today. He was very upset. Damn it, he came out to collect debts, but not only did he not get them, he also ran into this evil god and got slapped so many times for nothing. He really didn't check the almanac before going out. Chen Hu signaled his younger brothers to help the two injured people up, and planned to take them away after they were done. At this time, Yi Chen stretched out his hand to him, give me that IOU. Chen Hu was stunned, brother, what do you mean? I have to make sure I get the money first. Otherwise, if she happens to have money and you bring people to collect the debt, you will take the money first and we will be late. Wouldn't that be a huge loss? Stop talking nonsense and give me the IOU. We'll pay you back when we get the money. Yi Chen pretended to be impatient and said this in a ferocious tone, then suddenly pulled out the thing from his waist. Chen Hu and his group were almost scared to death. What a pistol! Desert Eagle. Damn, China has strict control over guns these days, and there haven't been any firearms in the Jianghai underworld for several years. After all, guns are too lethal and too sensitive, and when it comes to these things, it is not the police who come forward to deal with it, but the Special Operations Bureau of the Chinese military. Those people are not as reasonable and follow procedures as the police. If we mess with the Special Operations Bureau, the whole gang will be arrested if one person breaks the law, and they will all be sent to the extremely cold north to grow potatoes. To say the least, they will have to suffer a lot. This guy actually has a gun, oh my god, who is he? Chen Hu was so scared that he dared not have any second thoughts. He stretched out his trembling hand, handed the IOU to Yi Chen, and then turned and left. Before leaving, he asked Yi Chen, brother, can you reveal your name so that I can see it? They said they were paying homage, but actually they just wanted to investigate afterwards. My name is Song Zakai. I know you want to investigate and retaliate against me. If you are not afraid of death, come on if you have the guts. Yi Chen said in a deep voice, as if he didn't take Chen Hu seriously at all. Chen Hu was very angry, but he didn't dare to express it. He led his men to escape without even looking back. Seeing this scene, some brave onlookers nearby were stunned. In the past, they had only seen Chen Hu bullying men and women and acting lawless. This was the first time they saw Chen Hu so embarrassed and unable to hold his head up. On this side, after Chen Hu and others left, Yi Qian and Xie Qian, with cold faces, hosted Qi Yulong to the Maserati luxury car next to them, and threatened that Qi Yulong should either pay back the money or break Qi Yulong's kidney to pay off the debt. The luxury car started up and left this troubled place. At this moment, Xie Qian and Qi Yulong, who had been unable to hold back for a long time, finally couldn't help but burst into laughter on the spot. Har har har, Yi Qian, you're pretending too well. Chen Hu looks like he's almost lost his soul to you. How did you do that? My God, Chen Hu must be in a daze. He didn't do anything to collect the debt, but he didn't get a penny. Instead, he was beaten into a pig's head. Qi Yulong laughed so hard that her stomach hurt, especially Xie Qian, who also laughed very loudly. It had been a long time since she laughed like that. Yi Qian smiled slightly, took off his sunglasses, and said, to deal with that kind of people, you have to be ruthless. The stronger you are, the less you take them seriously, and the more they will doubt and fear your background and strength. Only by exerting extreme pressure can you subdue them. Although Yi Qian has never dealt with the black society, he has watched a lot of related TV dramas and novels, and knows that avilders must be dealt with by avilders. If you talk to the gang members with reason and don't take a tough attitude, they will just think you are weak and can be bullied. Only absolute strength and dominance can intimidate them. In the front row, Uncle Fu listened to Yi Qian's words and nodded in approval, thinking that Yi Qian was right, but at the same time he was still feeling uneasy. The result of his investigation on Yi Qian has come out. This kid was born in the countryside, went to the city to study when he grew up, and finally worked as a security guard in Xingsha Media. His resume from childhood to adulthood is very clear and simple. Logically speaking, with such a growth trajectory, Yi Qian couldn't have such a deep understanding of the underworld, nor could he be so bold and careful as to dare to confront Chen Hu's vicious underworld gang with a fake pistol. Moreover, Yi Qian was indeed very strong. The slaps and punches he used on Chen Hu and his younger brothers were much stronger than those of ordinary people. Even ordinary martial artists did not have that kind of strength. This is really against common sense, and it doesn't match Yi Qian's growth trajectory at all. Uncle Fu's face changed slightly. Could it be that all the so-called past experiences of Yi Qian that he had found out were deliberately packaged by Yi Qian? As he thought about it, Uncle Fu couldn't help but feel a chill down his spine. If this is really what I guessed, then why did Yi Qian do this? What is his purpose? What are the benefits of doing this? Could it be that Yi Qianjin is some kind of terrorist? Fortunately, Yi Qian's X-ray vision has not evolved to the point where he can see through people's thoughts. Otherwise, if he knew that Uncle Fu's brain cells were so active, he would definitely have vomited a mouthful of Ling Xiao blood onto the ceiling. Chapter 22. Yi Qian is not an ordinary person. By the way, Yi Qian, Xie Qian, how did you two know that I was in trouble and show up in time? After laughing for a while, Qi Yulong realized the crux of the matter and asked the two. Yi Qian smiled and said, we had dinner together after get off work, and then we went to the bar where you work to relax. We happened to run into Chen Hu looking for trouble with you, so I simply thought of a way to help you get out of it. Yi Qian, your method is really effective. Once we put on our suits and sunglasses, we look like real agents. However, I was a little nervous when facing Chen Hu, but fortunately I didn't show my fear. Xie Qian wiped the cold sweat from her forehead and said. That's right, Yi Qian's plan was to pretend to be a mysterious and powerful debt collector to cause trouble for Qi Yulong, to intimidate Chen Hu and others, and finally help Qi Yulong escape. This process required some props, so Xie Qian thought of Uncle Fu and contacted him. When Uncle Fu learned about the situation, he immediately drove as fast as possible to bring back the suit, sunglasses, the model pistol, and a dagger. In fact, the dagger has no blade at all and is not lethal. If you look closely at the pistol, you can tell it's a model. The key point is that Chen Hu was frightened by Yi Qian and Xie Qian's scene and didn't dare to look carefully at all. As the saying goes, the best strategy is to attack the enemy's heart. Thank you so much this time, otherwise I would be in real danger. Qi Yulong was terrified. If she fell into the hands of Chen Hu and his gang, she would definitely be humiliated and end up miserably. After thanking him, she was a little worried. If Chen Hu reacts, won't you two be in danger? It was too dark there, he couldn't see us clearly, not to mention I gave a fake name. Yi Qian smiled coldly. If the Black Dragon gang wanted to find someone, they would be looking for Song Zikai. It had nothing to do with him. With the power of the Black Dragon gang in Jianghai, it would be enough to give Song Zikai a hard time once they react. You don't have to worry. Next time you encounter this situation, just call the police. They don't have the IOU, and they don't have the power, courage or reason to do anything to you. Once you call the police, they will be scared out of their wits. Yi Qian took out the IOU he had cheated from Chen Hu and tore it to pieces on the spot. Hearing this, Qi Yulong finally felt relieved and burst into tears of gratitude. Thank you very much, Yi Qian, you are so thoughtful. Uncle Fu also felt that it was not easy for Yi Qian to make such a detailed plan in such a short time. This young man is no ordinary person. By the way, Sister Yulong, what's the situation in your family? Why would your father borrow money in your name? Isn't this too bad? Xie Qian held Qi Yulong's hand, feeling indignant. She didn't know the details, she only heard that Qi Yulong's father borrowed high-interest loans from the underworld in Qi Yulong's name, then disappeared after the loan was done, leaving Qi Yulong with debts and troubles. Is this kind of person worthy of being a father? Qi Yulong was quite helpless and told Xie Qian and Yi Qian the truth about her family situation from childhood to adulthood, which she had hidden for a long time. Yi Qian was silent. Qi Yulong's family conditions were almost as bad as his, but her family environment and the relationship between her parents were much worse than his. Although Yi Qian's family is poor, at least his parents are loving and his family is harmonious. Qi Yulong's father is a scumbag, and his mother is frail and sickly, suffering from overwork. What a miserable person. I'm afraid a large part of her carefree personality is just a disguise. Sister Yulong, if Auntie's medical expenses are really tight, I still have some savings here. Xie Qian gritted her teeth and started to speak, but before she finished, Qi Yulong interrupted her and said, Xie Qian, you can't even take care of your own affairs, so don't consider me. Although my finances are tight, I can still cope with it by finding a new job later. Let me tell you this, I was DJing in that bar, and my skills were so good that many bar owners added me on WeChat, trying to poach me. Now that bar has fired me, but if I just ask them on WeChat, they will rush to hire me with a raise. There is no shortage of jobs at all. When that time comes, your sister Yulong will become rich, and maybe I will help you. Qi Yulong put his arm around Xie Qian's shoulders, acting like a good brother, and laughed, looking quite optimistic. Xie Qian gave her a reproachful look and said nothing more. Yi Qian was observing from the side and clearly saw the fleeting helplessness in Qi Yulong's pupils. In fact, it was obvious that the news that Qi Yulong had offended the Black Dragon gang had already spread. Those bar owners used to treat Qi Yulong as a hot commodity, but now, unless they are crazy and don't want to do business anymore, they would not hire Qi Yulong and risk becoming enemies with the Black Dragon gang. However, Yi Qian did not say it clearly, because he was penniless and extremely poor, and had no capital to help Qi Yulong. We can only take one step at a time and see what happens. Uncle Fu then took the three of them to the Penglai Lakeside Villa area. The three of them went home together. It was already 10 o'clock in the evening and night had fallen. The three of them happened to meet Qin Xia at the door, who took out the key and was about to open the door. Sister Xia, you came back so late. Did you work overtime again today? Xie Qian blinked her big eyes. Oh, don't mention it. It's full of troubles every day. I was so bored today sitting in the office, thinking I could finally get off work on time. Just as I was getting off work, I received 2 phone calls reporting prostitution. I immediately led a team to crack down on prostitution and arrested more than 100 people. It took 3 hours of overtime to deal with all those people. After opening the door, Qin Xia changed her shoes with a tired look on her face and collapsed on the sofa like a useless baby. Xia, don't always say that your balls hurt. Speak more politely. Besides, we don't have balls, so how can it hurt? Qi Yulong laughed and took advantage of Qin Xia's lack of strength to move over and tickle her waist twice. What's the point of being elegant? I'm so tired, how can I have the mood to be elegant? Qin Xia rolled her eyes at Qi Yulong. She was so tired today that she really didn't have the energy to play around. Yi Qian poured a few glasses of water and asked tentatively, what happened to Song Zikai? Was he shot? Although I don't like those who don't keep themselves clean and I think it's good to execute them, but soliciting prostitution is not a serious crime and they can't be executed. We originally planned to detain him for 3 days and deliberately raised the fine to 100,000 yuan, but his girlfriend, a man named Jiang Qianqian, came over and paid the fine for him. My colleague is now going through the final release procedures and is expected to release him tonight. Qin Xia briefly explained the situation. Yi Chen clenched his fists and became furious as he listened. Where did Jiang Qianqian get the 100,000 yuan? Wasn't it his hard-earned money, and the money his parents borrowed from everywhere and saved up for their entire lives as a dowry for his marriage? In the end, Jiang Qianqian benefited from it all. Jiang Qianqian also used this money to help Song Zikai get rid of the crime. This adulterous couple are truly beasts among beasts. Chapter 23. A banner is delivered to their door. Lei Feng citizens. Yi Chen will make Song Zikai and Jiang Qianqian pay the price step by step and make them vomit out everything they have eaten. But it would be interesting to plan step by step and let them fall into the abyss step by step. Suppressing his anger, Yi Chen continued to ask, "What about Li Donghai? How did you deal with that guy?" Manager Li. He also solicited prostitution. Xie Qian was shocked. The business director of Hanhai International actually participated in prostitution. He seems to be a senior executive of your Hanhai International. I guess the news will be out tomorrow morning. After being arrested, this guy not only refused to confess his crime, but also tried to bribe the police officers to escape legal sanctions, which was firmly rejected by our police officers. He is currently suspected of bribery and prostitution. This kind of person is not eligible for bail and will be treated as a typical case by us. He has been taken away by the detention center. He will probably be detained for at least a week. After hearing what Qin Xia said, Xie Qian was shocked. She never expected that such a high-ranking manager was such a despicable guy behind the scenes and actually participated in prostitution. Yi Chen nodded slightly. Finally, there was good news. Locking him up for a week would be enough to teach Li Donghai a lesson. In addition, Yi Chen, don't think that everything is fine. Although there is no evidence at present and we can't do anything to you, Song Zikai's matter is definitely related to you. You may even be the mastermind behind it. Qin Xia's face suddenly darkened. When she was arresting Song Zikai, she heard the conversation between Yi Chen and Song Zikai. Although we don't know what the specific grudge between the two is, we can be sure that there is a deep hatred between them. It is very likely that Yi Chen planned this in order to take revenge on Song Zikai and deliberately lured Song Zikai into a trap. This is already killing someone with a borrowed knife. Use the police force to seek revenge. This is treating the police force as tools and fools. Yi Chen immediately refuted, "What nonsense are you talking about? I am a good citizen, how could I do such a thing? Bar, you are so scheming, and you still call yourself a good citizen, bullshit." Qin Xia didn't believe Yi Chen's lies at all. She also warned Qi Yulong and Xie Qian, "Remember my words, keep your distance from Yi Chen. This guy is not a good person. Bad people often appear among the crowd." Xie Qian and Qi Yulong were speechless. If it weren't for Yi Chen, one of them would have been in a bloody disaster today, and the other would have been kidnapped by the Black Dragon gang. They would never have been able to return home alive. Qin Xia said that Yi Chen was a bad person. Isn't this a big lie? Sister Shya, you have too deep a prejudice against Yi Qiancheng. In fact, Yi Chen is a very good person, really. Xie Qian said quite seriously. Qi Yulong agreed, "Yes, Yi Chen is really good." Har har, the more you say that, the more I doubt him. He deliberately gained your trust. In fact, you don't know how he created a plot to kill someone with a borrowed knife in order to deal with his enemy. The key is that he used a knife to kill someone, and he didn't leave any evidence. Even his enemies don't know what happened. This kind of person is too dangerous. I will report to the police tomorrow and put him on the list of key observation targets to prevent him from causing trouble. Qin Xia felt more and more frightened as she spoke, and she seriously doubted Yi Chen's identity and purpose of moving in. Yi Qianqi almost died. This woman is talking nonsense. What do you mean by borrowing a knife to kill someone and setting up a big plan? I just went with the flow and took advantage of this opportunity to turn the tables when Li Donghai wanted to trick me. Xie Qian and Qi Yulong didn't know what had happened, but they didn't agree with what Qin Xia said. This made Qin Xia anxious. How did Yi Chen gain their trust in just one day? This kid is too dangerous, we can't keep him here for long. Qin Xia said this and called her superiors in the police force, trying to explain how dangerous Yi Chen was. Unexpectedly, before the call was made, there was a knock on the villa door. "Excuse me, is Yi Chen at home?" The person knocking on the door had a deep voice. Yi Chen was a little confused. Who would come to see him so late? He stood up and opened the door, and saw two men in police uniforms outside. You came at the right time. Do you have any evidence of Yi Qian's crime? Qin Xia was excited. Her intuition and judgment were indeed correct. She immediately pointed at Yi Qian and said, "In that case, take him back for investigation. I have long seen that this guy is not a good person." Yi Qianqi was about to spit out blood. This woman was slandering him. The two policemen were puzzled. "Captain Qin, you live here too? Also, evidence of a crime. What are you talking about?" The two men were very confused. They were Qin Xia's subordinates in the criminal police brigade. They had worked together for many years and could easily understand what Qin Xia meant. This time I didn't understand a thing. Qin Xia frowned slightly. "Aren't you here to investigate Yi Qian?" "Well, of course not. Why are we investigating Yi Qian? He hasn't broken any law." The two police officers were a little confused. Yi Qian nodded repeatedly, thinking that there are still good people in the world. "Then what are you doing here? Send a banner to Mr. Yi Qian to commend his righteous act." As the police officer spoke, he actually showed a banner with 8 big words written on it: "Citizens of Leifeng, serving the country and the people." This is to commend Yi Qian for being a citizen of Leifeng. Qin Xia was dumbfounded. She couldn't understand what was going on. How could Yi Qian, this bastard and gangster, suddenly become a citizen of Leifeng? What's going on? Tell me clearly. Qin Xia stared with her beautiful eyes and asked madly. After the police officer's explanation, Qin Xia realized that the person who reported the private club providing erotic services in the suburbs of the city was Yi Qian. The case was handled by the deputy captain of the criminal police brigade, and Qin Xia didn't know much about it. No one would have expected that not only Songzakai was related to Yi Qian, but even the anti-prostitution campaign in the suburbs of the city was also related to Yi Qian. The person who reported the Dahao Bath Club where Songzakai worked was Li Dongge, who was caught soliciting prostitution in the suburbs. The two seemed to have a pretty good relationship in private, but it was said that both had grudges against Yi Qian, so Yi Qian was not just killing someone with a borrowed knife. He took revenge on both of his enemies at once through legal means. Qin Xia felt a chill on her back. This Yi Qian was really too scheming. No, I don't agree. Simply reporting a pornographic place doesn't warrant the awarding of the title of Leifeng citizen. This title is very rare and precious, and can only be obtained after making outstanding contributions. Qin Xia said in a cold voice, wanting the police officer to take back the banner. Of course, reporting alone is not enough, but Captain Qin, after our interrogation, the leader of that club admitted that their team was the 91-foot organization that was issued a red warrant by the Jiangxi Provincial Police Headquarters for suspected trafficking of women, illegal operation of pornographic venues and websites, and extremely serious circumstances. That place is a club on the surface, providing obscene services to the rich, but in fact it is the headquarters of the 91st organization. They often organize technicians and male actors to shoot obscene videos in the basement and other places in the villa, and upload them to the website they operate to make a profit. To put it bluntly, it's a big whorehouse. The 91st organization. Qin Xia was stunned, her face full of shock. We have been looking for them for 2 years with no clues, and now they are suddenly caught. Are you sure you are not mistaken? That's right. We have caught a big fish this time. Our police force has done a great job. I guess the province will send someone to commend us. If Mr. Yi Qian is not qualified to be a Leifeng citizen, who is suitable? The police officer asked back, and Qin Xia was completely dumbfounded and speechless, completely unable to refute. If it is the 91st organization, Yi Qian is really qualified to receive the award. After all, it is a notorious organization that has poisoned countless young people and caused great indignation in society. How many young people have wasted their youth and overdrawn their bodies on their website? Nowadays, many junior high school and high school students suffer from kidney deficiency at a young age, which has led to the sales volume and price of Liu de Huang pills rising year after year. This is all thanks to the 91st organization. This is a social cancer, and now it has finally been eradicated. Qin Xia couldn't help but applaud, but she didn't know how many young men and women would be saddened by the inability to open websites when they were lonely and unbearable late at night. Chapter 24 Boss, it seems we hit the wrong person. Thank you, Mr. Yi Qian, you have made outstanding contributions to the social order of Jianghai. Here is a banner for you. It is inscribed by the mayor of Jianghai City himself. In addition, I would like to inform you that as a citizen of Leifeng, you have a privilege. If you encounter any illegal or unfair things in the future, you can directly call the city's first hotline to report or seek justice. The police officer presented the banner to Yi Qian with both hands. Yi Qian was really a little embarrassed. He just made a simple report, but by accident he helped the police team catch the evil element on the red wanted list, and even got the title of Leifeng citizen because of it. There was even a chance to contact the mayor. Good luck. With a proud look at Qin Xia, he took the banner. Sister Xia, Yi Qian is really enthusiastic and a good person. Look, your boss has praised him. It's you who have too much prejudice against him, which is wrong. Xia Qian wanted to take this opportunity to change Qin Xia's mind. Qi Yulong nodded, and her opinion was the same as Xia Qian's. Qin Xia was a little depressed and had nothing to say at this time. Yi Qian had made great contributions and was also awarded the title of Leifeng citizen. It seemed that this really proved that he was a good person. In this situation, it is impossible to send someone to observe Yi Qian closely. After all, the citizens of Leifeng did good things, but the police still went to monitor them. If this matter were to be exposed, the entire police force would be blamed. Yi Qian, don't think that this is the end. I know that you didn't call the police to report the 91st organization. You simply wanted to take revenge on Li Donghai. I don't know what your hatred is, but I don't like people like you who are too scheming. I don't know why you moved into a shared villa, but I have to remind you that if you have any illegal thoughts, suppress them. I'll keep an eye on you. Qin Xia snorted coldly. It's just right that you don't like me. I also don't like a woman like you who has paranoid delusions and spends all day worrying about nothing. Yi Qian yawned and was too lazy to say more to Qin Xia. After seeing off the two police officers and putting away the banner, he returned to the villa to take a shower. Before washing, he left a message for Qin Xia, saying that if she came in and acted like a hooligan again, he would call the police. Qin Xia was so mad. Qi Yulong and Xia Qian looked at the two of them and shook their heads, not knowing what to say. The other side. Jianghai City, Police Headquarters, Criminal Police Brigade. Damn Yi Qian, just wait for me, I won't let you go. Song Zikai walked out of the police station, roaring loudly. Manager Song, what's going on? Didn't Yi Qian come to you to beg for mercy? Why did the police arrest you during their crackdown on pornography? Jiang Qianqian looked puzzled. She was about to go to bed at night when she received a call from Song Zikai. Song Zikai asked her to bring 100,000 yuan to the police station to bail him out. Jiang Qianqian didn't understand why it was so serious. Only after she arrived did she find out that Song Zikai was arrested for soliciting prostitution. What else could it be? It's all Yi Qian's fault. Song Zikai was furious. He didn't even beg for mercy from me, he set a trap for me to fall into. After Song Zikai finished cursing, he told Jiang Qianqian the whole story. Jiang Qianqian looked very bad after hearing this. You mean, Manager Li and Zhou Wei failed to stop Yi Qian from working at Hanhai International, and in the process they had a direct conflict with Yi Qian. Manager Li wanted to teach Yi Qian a lesson and called the police to arrest Yi Qian, but somehow the plan was leaked and Yi Qian took the opportunity to trick you and get you arrested. This is not right. Manager Li is a senior executive of Hanhai. How could he not stop Yi Qian from joining? Besides, Yi Qian doesn't deserve to work in such a good company. Jiang Qianqian was extremely jealous. Yi Qian was her ex-boyfriend, and now that he had broken up with her, he was able to find a better job and live a better life, which made her feel very unbalanced. Song Zikai said with disdain, Old Li told me in there that Yi Qian relied on crooked ways, like treasure appraisal or something, to help the HR manager of Hanhai International a lot, so the manager rewarded him with a job. In fact, he is nothing, otherwise the manager would not have let him work as a security guard. You can tell with your ass, how can that poor bitch know how to appraise treasures? He must have been lucky, just by sheer dumb luck. Song Zikai gnashed his teeth and said, let's not talk about these useless things for now. If Yi Qian dares to do this to me, I must kill him. As he said that, he called his bodyguards and said angrily, find Yi Qian for me. Beat him up the same way you beat him last time. Beat him up again this time. No, beat him harder, beat him to death, and even better, cripple both of his legs. After the beating, make him kneel down and beg for mercy and sing, Conquer. Remember to take a video for me. The murderous intent in Song Zikai's words made Jiang Qianqian shiver, and she mourned for Yi Qian in her heart. Yi Chen is in big trouble for daring to anger Song Zikai to this extent. I had found a job and could have stayed in the city for a while, but now I'm going to be beaten up by bodyguards. I'm afraid I'll have to go home and raise pigs in the future. Song Zikai and Jiang Qianqian drove home. Little did he know that many people were already lying in ambush in the bushes around his villa. Brother, who is that Song Zikai, the one who lives here? A sturdy man holding a steel rod looked viciously at the man with bandages wrapped around his face, who looked like a mummy. Chen, whose face was gloomy. I sent someone to check, and that guy lives here. I thought he was some big underground boss, or some KGB agent. Who knows, he's just a business manager of Xingshi Media. Business manager. The younger brother was stunned. Brother, who? That's not right. If it's the business manager, there's no need to offend us to say Qilin. What do you know? Society is very complicated now. Many people want to do the same after watching the scenes in novels and movies where heroes save beauties and win their hearts. Song Zikai is just trying to intimidate us with his tyranny. Plus, he's showing off with that gun, so we're really frightened. He used this to show off his so-called awesome identity and rescued Qilin. Qilin worshipped him. It's easy to imagine what will happen between him and Qilin after this. Chen, who was so angry that he fainted. After returning home, he couldn't swallow this anger and sent people to investigate. There was no surveillance at the scene, it was dark, and the man and woman were wearing sunglasses, so their faces could not be seen at all. The matter should have been left unresolved, but fortunately the guy introduced himself before leaving. Through the name, Song Zikai, Chen Hu easily found out that this guy was not a big shot at all, he was just pretending, he was just a company executive. In other words, Song Zikai took advantage of the power of another to snatch away the woman he was about to get. This is intolerable. Boss, if we don't beat that guy half to death today, our Black Dragon gang will become the laughingstock of the whole Jianghai. We were actually played by such a clown, the younger brother said fiercely. Try to cripple him. Here it comes, see it. Get started. When Chen Hu saw a car driving towards this side, he reminded his younger brother first. After the car stopped, he immediately roared and rushed forward with a dozen of his men. Surround the car. Song Zikai was about to get off the car when suddenly a group of fierce-looking men with iron bars and steel pipes rushed over. He was immediately scared to death. Oh my god, what's going on? Before he could react, the car door was violently pulled open by the Black Dragon gang's younger brothers. You are the one who is f***ing against me. You want to steal my woman, right? Come out here. And you dare to cooperate with Song Zikai to mess with us, you are looking for death. The Black Dragon gang's younger brothers violently dragged Song Zikai and Jiang Qianqian, who were in a state of panic and had no idea what was going on, out of the car and pushed them into the bushes. Without thinking twice, they picked up iron bars and started beating them. With a few crackling sounds, the two men were beaten to a bloody mess and screaming in agony. Alright, you're trying to show off in front of me, right? I'm going to beat you two dogs to death today. Keep going, use force, and teach them a lesson. Chen Hu lit a cigar and put it in his mouth. Seeing Song Zikai and Jiang Qianqian rolling on the lawn after being beaten, he felt very happy and just clapped his hands. But soon, he found something wrong. Why is this guy so fat and has such a big beer belly? Chen Hu was confused. He remembered that the guy who slapped him several times was a handsome young man, not greasy at all. The guy on the ground was simply a fat pig. At this time, a younger brother who was at the scene saw Song Zikai's face clearly and exclaimed, "No, boss, it seems we hit the wrong person. Chapter 25 If you have the guts, fight me to the end." Chen Hu was startled and stopped smoking. He waved his hand to signal his brothers to stop. After finishing, he walked up and took a personal look at Song Zikai and Jiang Qianqian. The street lights here are too dim, so I can see clearly from a distance just now. Now that I look at them up close, I can see that they are not the man and woman I saw in the bar before. What's going on? Chen Hu's face darkened and he asked, "Are you Song Zikai?" Song Zikai had never been beaten so badly in his life. He cried uncontrollably and felt extremely aggrieved. He didn't even know these evil spirits in front of him, so why did they beat him? Jiang Qianqian also cried bitterly, not understanding why she suffered such a misfortune. Cry, 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 why are you crying? If you cry again, I will break your legs. Answer me, is your name Song Zikai? Chen Hu glared at Song Zikai, scaring him half to death. When Song Zikai heard what Chen Hu said, he thought Chen Hu was here to cause trouble for him, so he shook his head like a rattle. I'm not Song Zakai, I'm not Song Zakai, brother, you got the wrong person. Really found the wrong one. Chen Hu and his younger brothers looked at each other, somewhat puzzled. He waved his hand, signaling one of his younger brothers to come forward and snatch the ID from Song Zakai. Chen Hu got angry and slapped Song Zakai, causing him to scream, "How dare you lie to me? Your name is obviously Song Zakai." Yes, I am Song Zakai, but brother, we don't know each other. We have no grudge against each other, why are you hitting me? Song Zakai grimaced, enduring the pain, his body trembling. Boss, that guy must have given a fake name before he left. We really hit the wrong guy. The younger brother whispered. Damn it, we've been tricked. Chen Hu couldn't swallow this breath, staring at Song Zakai fiercely, but since we're here, we can't come here for nothing. This kid is dishonest. He dared to lie when asked if he was Song Zakai. Hand him on, teach him a lesson, and tell him to be honest. Chen Hu took the lead, rolled up his sleeves, and led his younger brothers to beat up Song Zakai and Jiang Qianxian. He beat them half to death before stopping. I'm warning you, if you dare to call the police, be careful when walking at night, or you might be thrown into the Yangtze River to feed the fish. Chen Hu made such a harsh remark before leaving. Seeing that Song Zakai was rich, he even robbed Song Zakai's wallet. The group then got into the van and drove away, planning to discuss new methods of investigation after returning. What on earth is going on? Song Zakai burst into tears. He didn't do anything wrong, so why was he beaten up by the gang? Not only did these people not apologize for beating the wrong person, they even continued to make the mistake. Although these gangsters are unreasonable, as a gang, they taught him the principle of being honest. What kind of world is this? He sent people to beat Yi Qian, but now, Yi Qian hasn't been beaten yet, but he got beaten up for nothing. Song Zakai was so frustrated and angry. He had no choice but to contact his bodyguard to vent his anger. Tomorrow, when we find Yi Qian, we will increase our efforts and beat him to death. Do you hear me? I want to see a photo of him that looks even more miserable than I do now. He sent a selfie to his bodyguards. The bodyguards were shocked when they saw this and wondered how the boss could have been beaten into a pig's head. Song Zakai didn't explain much. In addition to taking revenge on Yi Qian, there was another very important thing to do. After he and Jiang Qianxian supported each other and went home, Song Zakai hurriedly contacted major media outlets through Xingxia Media, spending a lot of money to ask them not to report today's anti-pornography operation. Block public opinion. Otherwise, he would be ruined, severely reprimanded by the company, and even demoted. Thanks to these connections and resources, I didn't end up like that. Yi Qian, you are still too young to fight with me. Do you want to humiliate me and cause social death? You don't have that ability. After arranging everything, Song Zakai thought proudly. The next day, Yi Qian got up in the morning. I planned to check out the local news in Jianghai. Yesterday's crackdown on pornography was enough to ruin Song Zakai's reputation. Unexpectedly, the news headlines were so peaceful, with no reports about the anti-pornography campaign at all. What's going on? Yesterday was the first time Jianghai conducted a crackdown on pornography in the past 2 years. Especially among those targeted, the September 1st organization was one of them. It should be big news and all major media outlets should be rushing to report it. Yi Qian raised his eyebrows. This was very different from what he expected. He even expected Song Zakai to lose face last night. If the media does not report it and Song Zakai's ugly behavior is not exposed, Xingxia Media Group will not deal with Song Zakai. Song Zakai can still rely on his own power to find ways to make money and live a luxurious life, and he will definitely find ways to take revenge on Yi Qian. Yi Qian won't just sit there and wait. Before Song Zakai was escorted into the car yesterday, he was careful and took a complete video of Song Zakai being arrested in a miserable state. Yi Qian contacted major media outlets to ask if they would accept relevant submissions. As a result, all the media rejected Yi Qian and refused to accept him. Yi Qian frowned, somewhat confused about what was going on. Could it be that the police were still blocking the news? Just as I was wondering, a phone call came in and the caller was Song Zakai. As soon as he answered the phone, Song Zakai started to curse and swear, "Yi Qian, you idiot, you tricked me into staying in the criminal police team for a whole night. Paying a fine of 100,000 is not enough, and you still want to expose me and ruin my reputation. You are so vicious. Why didn't I see you were this kind of person before? Song Zikai cursed loudly, obviously he had received the news. Yi Qian sneered and figured out what was going on. Xingshe Media has been deeply involved in the entertainment industry for many years and has many artists under its umbrella. In order to ensure the traffic of the artists, various hype and hiring water armies to increase traffic are indispensable. Therefore, the company has cooperated with many media. As a business manager, Song Zikai is naturally the liaison between Xingshe Media and media companies. It's no surprise that he can buy off these media. Song Zikai, compared to the way you backstabbed me, causing me to fall from a rising star in the business department into an abyss of no return, and teamed up with that woman Jiang Qianqian to cheat on me, and when you were discovered, you got so angry that you asked people to beat me up, fired me, and wanted to kill me completely. What I did to you is nothing compared to your vicious behavior. Yi Qian asked back with a sneer. Song Zikai was furious. You little bastard, you dare to talk back. Okay, you have guts, but I tell you, if you fight against me, it's like hitting a rock with an egg, you will only end up with a bloody head. You want to expose me, right? Fine, you try. Those media outlets are all my people. I've asked them to delete all those photos and videos. In this case, I want to see how you can expose me. You want to bring me down. You are not worthy. I have so many social resources and I am so powerful. You, a low-level scumbag, can't even imagine it. You clown, you are destined to be a clown for the rest of your life. I will trample you under my feet. I am the insurmountable mountain standing in your way. Also, be careful. These days, it's not uncommon to run into an accident in broad daylight. Song Zikai was arrogant and mocked and threatened Yi Qian, typing out dozens of words at once, trying to scare Yi Qian. Little did he know that this not only failed to scare Yi Qian, but instead made Yi Qian more determined to fight back. After hanging up the call with Song Zikai, Yi Qian contacted the media again. This time he didn't waste words and got straight to the point. You are taking money to control public opinion, which is illegal. Let me remind you that I am a citizen of Leifeng. Now, as a citizen of Jianghai Leifeng, I ask you to report the truth. Otherwise, I will sue the mayor for shielding criminals and helping criminals control public opinion. After saying that, he sent a MMS message to the other party. Attached is a photo of the pennant. Just as Yi Qian thought, the other party saw the photo and immediately called back, asking Yi Qian to calm down and that everything could be discussed. Citizens of Leifeng are often the most respected title in a city. Those who receive this title will also have the privilege of calling the city chief's hotline to complain to him about various matters or seek redress for injustice. In incidents like today, various media outlets took money to block the news, which is already suspected of maliciously controlling public opinion. Once the mayor takes this matter seriously and launches an investigation, those media outlets will be in big trouble and will be forced to suspend operations for several months to rectify their problems. Chapter 26 Brother Tian, I will never dare to act cool in front of you again. Mr. Yi, please calm down and don't be impulsive. Everything can be discussed. What exactly do you want? The person on the other end of the phone was the person in charge of Jianghai Daily, a local media in Jianghai. He was sweating and speaking in a panic. Yi Qian didn't expect that the privilege he got last night would come in handy today. He was very satisfied with the deterrent power of the title of Leifeng citizen and said, "My request is very simple. Report the 2 anti-pornography operations carried out by the Criminal Police Brigade last night truthfully. This can positively promote the outstanding contributions made by the police force to social order. Why do you avoid talking about it? Just because you took Song Zikai's money?" Yi Qian sneered. The person in charge was quite embarrassed. "Mr. Yi, this matter is not as simple as you think. It is a bit complicated. Can we discuss it?" "There's nothing to discuss. Song Zikai just called me and mocked me, saying how powerful his social resources are and that I can't touch him. I want to see who can't touch whom." Yi Qian sneered and said, "Anyway, either you report this or I complain to the mayor." The person in charge originally wanted to discuss it to see if there were any other solutions to this problem. After all, they have a good relationship with Song Zikai. If they report it directly, it will easily hurt the relationship and affect the bilateral relationship. Hearing Yi Qian's firm tone, he had no choice but to give up. He then said in a submissive tone, "Mr. Yi, it's not that we don't want to report it, it's just that the first-hand photos and videos have been, accidentally, deleted by us. We can publish a text version of the report, what do you think?" "Oh, deleted it by accident. It's okay, I just happen to have a video. You can use this video to report. Yi Qian said generously and considerately, and sent the video to the person in charge. In fact, he would never believe the nonsense of the person in charge. Deleted by accident. Har har, the text version of the report will definitely delete the content about Song Zikai, so it won't have any effect. Fortunately, Yi Qian was careful, and while watching the show at the entrance of the alley, he took a complete picture of Song Zikai being escorted out by the police. When the person in charge saw the video, he was almost stunned because the video was too high definition. There is no other way but to lift the blockade of public opinion according to Yi Qian's request. Otherwise, Yi Qian will report them to the mayor, and they will end up in a miserable state. The person in charge hung up the phone and went to write news and videos. At the same time, we also notified all media outlets that had received money to forward the article, otherwise the consequences would be unpredictable. 3 minutes later, related news was flying everywhere. All of them are news about how Hanhai International's business manager Li Donghai tried to bribe the police officer to get away with it after being caught soliciting prostitution, but was sternly rejected, and Xingshi Media's business manager Song Zikai visited a baiting club and was thrown into the police station. Both of them have high social status, and when the news came out, it caused an uproar throughout the country. After seeing the news, Yi Qian was very satisfied. He went out with Su Xiaoyan and Xie Qian and got into Uncle Fu's car to go to work. Master, you seem to be in a good mood today. You seem to be in a very bad mood the night before yesterday. Su Xiaoyan blinked her big eyes and looked at Yi Qian. Yi Qian smiled and said nothing. That kind of thing happened just the day before yesterday. It would be strange if he was in a good mood. The reason why I'm in a good mood now is that he has officially sounded the whistle for the counterattack. Song Zikai and Jiang Qianqian will definitely regret what they have done. The other side. After Song Zikai mocked Yi Qian, he was in a good mood. On a whim, he wanted to do something with Jiang Qianqian. However, perhaps because the psychological trauma of the crackdown on pornography was too heavy, he was completely unable to stand up and was powerless. He was so angry for a moment that he even wanted to kill Yi Qian. If it weren't for Yi Qian, how could his brothers be ashamed to hold their heads up? This is going to make his Song family extinct. Jiang Qianqian had been aroused and became interested, but she had no idea that Song Zikai couldn't get things done, so she suddenly felt a little resentful. In fact, she has always been a little dissatisfied with Song Zikai, because Song Zikai is really not good in that aspect. He often comes up with great enthusiasm, and 2 minutes later he smokes a cigarette, feeling as happy as a god. Now, I can't even last 2 minutes. I can't get anything done. Unlike Yi Qian, when she did that with Yi Qian, every time she reached orgasm one after another, it was a real enjoyment, more exciting than using adult products. Unfortunately, after becoming estranged from Yi Qian, I have never had that feeling again. I'm not in good shape today. Let me adjust myself after a while and come back again. Song Zikai decided to see an old Chinese doctor later. Jiang Qianqian hummed perfunctorily and scrolled through her phone out of boredom, hoping to put out the fire. As soon as he saw it, he was shocked. Oh no, something big has happened. You're in a panic, what's going on? Song Zikai was a little displeased. But when he took the phone and looked at it carefully, his face suddenly changed. Shocking news, Song Zikai, the business manager of Xingshi Media Group, was arrested in the anti-pornography operation last night. Attached is a high-definition video, directly on the scene. What's going on? Didn't they take 2 million from me and promise to delete all the photos and videos of the anti-pornography operation and guarantee that there would not be any related reports? What's going on? Song Zikai roared loudly with his eyes wide open. He just transferred money to the heads of various media outlets, and within a few minutes, negative reports about him suddenly appeared everywhere. What is going on? Song Zikai's eyes were bloodshot, and he contacted the heads of major media outlets. Manager Song, we can't help it. It's Yi Qian. We dare not offend him. He has warned us not to abuse his power to take money to control public opinion, otherwise he will report it to the mayor. You certainly didn't expect that he is a citizen of Leifeng and can call the mayor's hotline to report any illegal activities directly to the mayor. We dare not accept this money, so we return it to you. If you want to solve this matter, go directly to Yi Qian. We can't do anything. The media executives directly transferred back the money they had just received. Song Zikai almost vomited blood. Leifeng citizen, Yi Qian? How did this kid suddenly transform himself into such an honorable and privileged title? Jiang Qianqian was also very surprised and didn't understand what was going on. But now is not the time to think too much. Song Zikai called Yi Qian. 3 in a row, but Yi Qian didn't answer any of them. Yi Qian, I'm warning you, ask all major media outlets to withdraw the article immediately, so that you still have a chance to survive. Otherwise, if you fight me to the end, you will end up in trouble. Song Zikai typed angrily and sent a text message to Yi Qian. At the same time, Yi Qian in the car looked at the text message, sneered, and did not reply. Soon, Song Zikai sent a second text message. The tone of this text message was softer. Yi Qian, there are many misunderstandings between us, and these misunderstandings can be explained. Please ask the media to withdraw the article first, and we can discuss the rest. Yi Qian looked at him indifferently and still did not reply. A minute later, Song Zikai sent another text message. His tone softened again. Yi Qian, brother Qian, I admit my mistake. Isn't it enough for me to admit my mistake? I shouldn't have treated you like that before. You withdraw the manuscript first, and I will compensate you in the future and repair our relationship. Didn't you say this before? Aren't you very capable, have abundant social resources, and have connections everywhere? If that's the case, why are you begging me? Go ask your friends instead. Yi Qian left Song Zikai alone for several minutes before slowly replying. Song Zikai felt disheartened. If he knew that Yi Qian was a citizen of Lei Feng, how could he dare to act so pretentiously? When sending another text message, Song Zikai's tone was almost begging. He wanted the media to retract the article before the news spread widely. Otherwise, the Group S board of directors would be furious when seeing this news that damages the Group S image and would impose severe punishment on Song Zikai. Brother Tian, Lord Tian, I really beg you, I won't dare to act so arrogant again, please forgive me this time, or, Lord Tian, you are in need of money, right? Please name a price, and we can solve this matter as soon as possible. Chapter 27 being followed. Oh, you are so rich and generous? Then bring 100 million and we can put an end to this matter. Yi Qian replied calmly. This offer made Song Zikai furious. 100 million, how dare you ask? Did my money come from the wind? Song Zikai cursed Yi Qian's ancestors for 100 times in his heart, but he didn't dare to show it. He could only say with tears in his eyes, God, please give me a sincere price. I can accept it. Although I have money, 100 million is still far beyond my ability. Jiang Qianqian felt very uncomfortable when she saw Song Zikai begging for mercy humbly from Yi Qian. Logically speaking, Yi Qian should kneel in front of Song Zikai and beg for forgiveness, and ask Song Zikai and Jiang Qianqian to give him a chance to live. Why is the script flipped? At this moment, Yi Qian was too lazy to continue teasing Song Zikai, and responded directly, Song Zikai, to tell you the truth, I have no interest in your money. What I want is for you to be ruined and let everyone see what kind of person you are. You don't give me a way to live and want to make me despair, so I will retaliate in kind and make you taste the taste of despair. Remember, this is just the beginning. You two adulterers will suffer more next, just wait and see. Yi Qian is officially declaring war on them and swearing to be irreconcilable with them. Even through the phone screen, Song Zikai and Jiang Qianqian could still feel Yi Qian's hatred and murderous intent, as well as his determination for revenge. For a moment, they couldn't help but feel a chill on their backs and shuddered. Song Zikai tried to send another text message to find out if there was any room for maneuver in this matter. As a result, when the text message was sent, a red exclamation mark was displayed. This means that his number has been blocked by Yi Qian. Song Zikai gritted his teeth, looking extremely frustrated. It's over, everything is over. The board of directors will definitely hold me accountable after seeing the news. It's not completely impossible to fire me directly. Why should I go arrogant with Yi Qian? It's better to deal with it coldly. Song Zikai was filled with regret. It's useless to say anything now. We can only count on Brother Zheng and the others. Jiang Qianqian clenched her fists tightly and said viciously. Yes, Zheng Kaming and the others should be ready by now. As long as they find an opportunity, Yi Qian will be beaten to death. Song Zikai's face was ferocious. Yi Qian, you dare to go against me, I want you to look good. I beat you half to death, kneel down and sing conquer, and then make you come and beg me to let you go. Zheng Kaming, the leader of Song Zikai's bodyguard team, used to be a gangster and was known for his cruel methods. He took the lead in no less than 10 group fights, with casualties every time. It is said that he even broke the hamstrings of several people. I've seen a lot of blood and experienced many big scenes. With him around, Yi Chen will be in trouble. In addition, he is Jiang Qianqian's good friend and Jing Jiuwei's biological brother. It was with Jiang Qianqian's introduction that he was able to become Song Zikai's right-hand man. Zheng Keiming should know that his sister was slapped by Yi Chen yesterday. Har, in this case, Zheng Keiming will hit her harder. We just have to wait for news. Song Zikai thought cruelly, as if he had already foreseen Yi Chen's tragic ending, and his mood became slightly better. The other side. A Maserati luxury car in motion. Master, who are you texting with? Your girlfriend. Seeing Yi Chen fiddling with his phone, Su Shaoyan couldn't help but ask. Yi Chen put away his phone and rolled his eyes. How is it possible? I've broken up, how can I still have a girlfriend? Break up. Su Shaoyan immediately became curious and wanted to tentatively ask why they broke up. Was it because their relationship was not good enough, or was there something not harmonious in their life? Thinking about it, she didn't ask the last question. After all, she had already accidentally seen Yi Chen's abilities. If she said that it was Yi Chen's failure in that aspect that led to the breakup, no one would believe it. He is so majestic. I'm afraid it's not a breakup, but a temporary cold war between the two of you. Let me guess, what exactly caused the cold war between you two? Su Shaoyan laughed, her mind was full of imagination. Yi Chen didn't beat around the bush and shrugged. Actually, there is no special reason. She cheated on me behind my back, and she cheated very thoroughly, so it's impossible for us to get back together. Su Shaoyan was embarrassed all of a sudden. Sorry, master, I shouldn't have smiled foolishly just now. It's okay, I don't care about these. Yi Chen smiled and said indifferently. It's okay, Yi Chen. A cheating woman is not worth staying with. You are so outstanding, you will definitely meet a better girl in the future. Xie Chen comforted him. She had read many novels and TV dramas about love and could understand Yi Chen's feelings. Better? Yi Chen sighed and didn't say much. These things were too far away and he didn't want to think about them for the time being. The most urgent task is to make Jiang Qianqian honestly return the hard-earned money of her parents. We can't let that adulterous couple have it easy. Oh, let's not talk about this topic anymore. It's too heavy and too far away. Seeing that the atmosphere had become a little cold, Su Shaoyan quickly changed the subject. But before he could finish his sentence, Uncle Fu suddenly said from the front seat of the car, "We are being followed." When these words were spoken, everyone in the car was shocked. Follow? Su Shaoyan raised her eyebrows. Who dares to follow my Su family's car? It's unclear, but we were definitely being followed. Young man, judging from your expression, you should have noticed it a long time ago, right? Through the rearview mirror, Uncle Fu observed Yi Chen. Seeing Yi Chen's stern expression, he smiled, as if everything was under his control. Yi Chen was confused. What was Uncle Fu talking about? What did he discover? Okay, stop pretending. Looking at you, you must have discovered it a long time ago, otherwise why would you look so tense? Uncle Fu shook his head. Yi Chen's acting skills were still too poor. Uncle Fu couldn't understand why Yi Chen was so low-key. He clearly noticed everything, but pretended to know nothing. Could it be that, although he appeared unmoved on the surface, he was actually frantically thinking of a countermeasure? Otherwise, the expression wouldn't be like that. Not bad, this young man is so sophisticated and calm at such a young age, he is really extraordinary. Uncle Fu gave Yi Chen a thumbs up in his heart. Yi Chen almost vomited blood. He was chatting with Su Shaoyan and Xie Chen just now and didn't pay attention to his surroundings at all. Naturally, it was impossible for him to notice that he was being followed. His tense expression was because he got angry when talking about Jiang Qianqian. Uncle Fu was simply overthinking it. Of course, he wasn't completely unaware of the difference. It's the Wuling Hongguang with the license plate number Jiangge 57G78. It seems like they have been following us since we got on the car. Yi Chen said after observing the surroundings. That's right. After I realized something was wrong, I deliberately accelerated or slowed down, and even changed lanes. They followed us 10 meters behind, always 1 or 2 parking spaces away from us. This is enough to prove that they were following us on purpose. Could it be that Chen Hu and the others are here? Uncle Fu's expression was solemn. Su Shaoyan was horrified. Chen Hu? Chen Hu from the Black Dragon Gang? What's going on? Uncle Fu, did you have a conflict with Yi Chen and Chen Hu? Obviously she had heard of Chen Hu's name. Now is not the time to explain too much. Yi Chen ignored Su Xiaoyan and denied Uncle Fu's guess, saying, "It's impossible. I covered it up very well last night. Chen Hu couldn't see my face clearly, so it was difficult for him to find out my identity. He wouldn't come here so quickly." As he spoke, his eyes began to become deep, which was a sign that his X-ray vision had been activated. He suddenly turned his head and looked at the Wuling Hongguang behind him. His eyes were penetrating and fixed on the 7 people in the Wuling Hongguang. Zheng Keiming. They're head of Song Zikai's bodyguards. These 7 people were the ones who followed Song Zikai's orders and beat Yi Chen to the ground. It was obvious that this person was sent by Song Zikai to take revenge on him. "I didn't go to settle the score with you, but you came to me instead. That's perfect." Yi Chen smiled in his heart. After defeating 5 burly thugs when he rescued Su Xiaoyan last time, Yi Chen had a clear understanding of his own strength. It was not too strong, but it was definitely enough to deal with Zheng Keiming and his gang. Today, let these people suffer and avenge the arrow shot at them that day. Yi Chen said in a deep voice, "Uncle Fu, drive to a place where there are not many people, I will take care of this matter."